Hey guys, welcome to Zach Attack Reviews. Thank you for joining me either live if you're on the live stream itself or you're watching it on the replay. This is a hefty one I have here that I've been planning for a while, ever since James Gunn took over DC comics movie division. They didn't really have a name before, and that's part of what I want to talk about during the stream. I'm going to be talking about the importance of the Dark Knight because that affects everything that's going on right now, the birth and fall of the DCEU, the extended universe, that weird name that they had, and go through the movies and all the drama behind it, especially still going on now as we speak, which is insane. And the DCU slate that James Gunn has announced after Aquaman Lost Kingdom. So the way the stream is going to go, I'm going to go through each section, and once I'm done, I'll take your comments, concerns, questions, and everything that you guys are going to be saying. If you're doing live and if you're watching afterwards, drop a comment on the video below, and we can discuss it after. So I'm going to start off with talking about The Dark Knight, one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. Christopher Nolan coming in and doing a fantastic job of updating Batman for a new generation in a way that really resonated with the mass audiences and impacted how we see comic book movies today on Marvel side and on DC side. I think when it comes to Marvel, it affected it in a more positive way, and for DC, it affected it in a more negative way. And I'm going to get into that right now, but I want to praise The Dark Knight a little bit. You're going to see me look down a couple of times because I actually wrote a lot of notes. So I'm not going off the top of the head like I usually do for live. And in terms of The Dark Knight, what made it special and different from other comic movies before, because other comic movies before, even the great ones, like the original Christopher Reeve Superman with Richard Donner and everything like that, and even Batman 89, they were never taken seriously as art. They were never taken seriously as things that the masses could love. But people really saw them as for kids, lowbrow stuff for general audiences that are not super into deep stuff, and was snubbed always at the Oscars, no matter what, if they were the most popular movie of the year or anything like that, even if a performance was great. The Dark Knight changed that. And what it did was combine the comic book lore with the like combining it with another genre outside of comic books. It took more from the movie Heat and less from stuff like Batman and Robin, and really created something that was grounded and serious, and showed that the comic book movies can be taken seriously as a form of art. And I just want to somebody just joined the live. Alexander, thank you for dropping a comment and looking at the stream. I know you're busy, so I appreciate you. Thank you for telling me to do my thing. I'm gonna do my thing, my guy. And with The Dark Knight, brought this more serious, more darker, more realistic tone, talking about certain things in the world, but not putting in your face, and a very grounded look at Batman and Bruce Wayne, which had positives and negatives for me. It wasn't too fantastical, so people, general audiences, can get into it and not be scared of it being confusing. But also, I think that it was so grounded that Batman didn't fight the way that I thought he should fight. So that's like really my only negative about that series. But overall, that trilogy was amazing. Now, with The Dark Knight and the effect that it's had on comic book movies, with it combining genres, the positive way it did the MCU is that we got a war movie in Civil War, we got a spy thriller in Winter Soldier, we got a heist movie in Ant-Man, and those are some of the movies that really stand out in the MCU, and they took the right lessons from The Dark Knight. Now, how does this affect the DCU in this video I'm talking about? It affects the DCEU, the birth of it, because they took the wrong lessons from The Dark Knight. It took the wrong lessons from it because they didn't think about combining genres, combining the comic book lore with another genre to create a movie that can be accepted by comic book fans and the general audiences and grounded. They just saw that it was dark. It was dark. It was realistic. It had this somber tone, and they thought that the whole DCU had to be like this. And they incorporated Christopher Nolan, who after Dark Knight Rises was done with comic book movies. He did not want to direct or write any more comic book films on his own, at least, or run the DCEU, which the first problem was didn't have a studio like Marvel. Marvel has this own studio with its own staff. They are creating the content and everything like that. And they don't have that. And the big problem there was so many people were just doing different things, and they were treating their characters like how Marvel had to treat their characters. Marvel had the problem where they didn't own all their characters and they had to work around it and use C and D list characters to make the MCU. And it ended up working out. Somebody just came in. Hey Tank, thank you for joining. I know you're at work. Thank you for listening in. I appreciate you. Yeah, so it ended up working out, and they made characters like Iron Man that's not big in the comics bigger. DC had all their characters available, but they had New Line being in control of Shazam and Black Adam. They had this company being in control of this. They had Zack Snyder being in control of Superman, Batman, and Justice League, while Peggy, not Peggy, I'm about to say Peggy Carter. Oh my god, I'm forgetting the director for Wonder Woman. Her name is blanking right now. If you were watching right now, you remember Patty Jenkins being in control of the Woman universe. They were having these directors control it and not having a connecting through line and things that made sense and why the MCU was successful. So what they did in the beginning, and the beginning plan of it, was to bring Christopher Nolan in. If you notice, he is a producer on Man of Steel. He is friends with Zack Snyder and suggested Zack Snyder to do the first Superman movie in this universe. What we didn't know, and is revealed later, is that The Dark Knight is technically supposed to be the first movie of the DCEU, because originally they were going to do Man of Steel, and everything with Man of Steel happens the way it happens, and Zack Snyder makes his movie, and the movie is divisive. It doesn't make as much money as they think it's going to make. They thought it was going to be $1 billion flick, and they were going to get a bunch of money off of it after Superman has been pretty dormant over the years. Superman Returns with Brandon Routh didn't work out, and then before that, Superman was been stuck to TV with Smallville, and then some other TV shows before that, and we haven't really had a movie until now. I love Man of Steel. I think it's a classic film. I think the take that Zack Snyder took with the grounded effect of Superman struggling with his identity and things like that, him being an alien, and the fight scenes and everything was fantastic. And I was hoping to see him grow into the Superman that we know and love, but fans didn't respond super well to the beginnings of that take. And what was supposed to happen is that the reason why they wanted to have a more serious, grounded Superman is that when Batman vs. Superman, probably one of the most divisive comic book films of all time, and a film that I love and I think is great, but a lot of people hate. And I understand the reasons why a lot of people hate that movie. But what was supposed to happen, and the way I think that movie would have been a lot smoother, is that Christian Bale's Batman was supposed to be the Batman that faced off against the Henry Cavill Superman. The only new character that was supposed to show up was going to be Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, making everything a little bit easier because you already knew Henry Cavill's character. You already had 3 movies with Christian Bale. But what ends up happening is that the Christian Bale decides that if Christopher Nolan's not directing, I'm not in it. So because Christopher Nolan turned down directing Batman versus Superman and didn't like the script that WB brought, because that's another thing that came out in an article in Variety after the whole Zack Snyder controversy, is that WB brought a script to Zack Snyder and Christopher Nolan to create, and it was very dark and somber and murderous, and to the point where Zack Snyder felt like he had to lighten it up a bit, and which is crazy because you think about how Batman Superman is, it deals with heavy tones of some serious stuff, and he had to lighten it up from what they were trying to do. So then Chris Nolan backs out. So Christian Bale backs out. We do not have that Batman in that movie. But because WB is trying to catch up to Marvel, trying to make the money that Marvel's making, instead of just making a Man of Steel 2, then making an original Batman film, they say, you know what? We'll can recast Christian Bale and not say it and have him be Batman in this film with all the history and being jaded and everything like that. And that's why that character is kind of written that way, like he has all this history, because originally it was supposed to be Christian Bale's Batman. Ben Affleck comes in, and obviously Ben Affleck, he's a writer, he's a director, he's a creator. He's not just an actor. And he sees the script and he sees how crazy and dark it is. And he even thinks it's too dark, even after Zack Snyder changes. So he brings another script writer in to lighten up the movie more, put some more action into the film, which is crazy because that film doesn't have as much action as you would think it would have for a Batman versus Superman film. And then he comes in and does his own thing. Zack Snyder directs it. It doesn't bomb. It does really well, but is another divisive film in the DCEU. And the DCEU is not off to a fantastic start with two divisive films that perform below expectations because they expected both these movies to be billion-dollar films because they have two of the greatest superheroes, two of the most popular superheroes of all time. So you would think these are surefire billion-dollar hits. Even if they still made their money back and made money on top of it, it didn't do as well as they wanted, and they started scrambling. Um, so with that, with The Dark Knight, with it being nominated for Oscars and all the praise that it got, the money it made, and they're expecting that Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman would get the same treatment, they started scrambling a little bit. And because David Ayer, he's doing the Suicide Squad, and David Ayer has been very public about his original version of Suicide Squad and how it was different, how the tone was different. It was going to be a lot more wackier and crazy. And the original story for that movie was going to be Amanda Waller sending the squad to go after one of the mother boxes and being confronted by the demons. Oh my god, I'm blanking on the name again. My brain is not working right now. The parademons, and they were going to be the villains of the movie. The parademons were going to be the villains of the movie, and that's how they were going to go about it with the Suicide Squad originally going against the parademons, going after that mother box that I was trying to search for that one that was on Earth, and that was going to be our first taste of it, tying all the stuff that was happening from Batman vs Superman, Man of Steel into this movie as well, making it make sense, which sounds like a lot better story than what we got because of the panic and because of what happened with Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman. DC, Warner Brothers, and all the other people, and how chaotic it was, decides to pivot and change uh, David Ayer's script and cut it up like a music video and makes this movie that's supposed to be Guardians of the Galaxy light. They wanted a Guardians of the Galaxy hit because they saw what happened with Guardians of the Galaxy in the MCU, and they were trying to gain that success. Which is funny. The movie did well financially and actually won an Oscar, which is insane to me. It won an Oscar before an MCU film did, but the movie was very divisive. Like, again, another divisive movie, third in a row. There's a lot of people actually that like that movie. I don't think it's terrible, but it's not like top tier or even mid tier of a comic book film. But a lot of people hate that film. So the majority, I feel like, it's not liked. I think the opinion on it has been softened just a bit as the years has passed, but a lot of people don't like that film. So that was 2016. So Man of Steel came out in 2013. BVS comes out in 2016. Suicide Squad comes out in 2016. That's 3 years of divisive films. 2017, here comes Patty Jenkins with the help of Zack Snyder, and I forgot who the director was, or not the director, the writer of Wonder Woman, one of the greatest comic book movies of all time, the first female-led comic book film. It was just a great origin story film, and I really liked the Wonder Woman film, and a lot of people liked it. It did well financially. It's not divisive. A lot of people like that film. It has some detractors, but a lot of the detractors are just, oh, it's a woman or whatever. But most of the people who seen the film like it. They either think it's fine or great. Like, no, I don't think anybody that's seen the film and it's not one of those kind of people think that movie is garbage. So it brings some light. It's a little bit of a lighter tone. It still has the feel of what they've done before, but it has a more hopeful tone. And Gal Gadot is born as a new star off of this film. I see. It's a fine movie. It's not a comic book movie though. How is it not a comic book movie? It has a comic book characters in it. That's like saying Joker's not a comic book movie. It is. It's just the Suicide Squad does. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely a comic book movie. It's just they just messed it up by chopping it up and not taking it the way that David Ayer had and having it tie into the greater universe. But back to Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's great. We have some hope. A lot of people have more refined hope in the DCEU. True characters, but not based on comic books. Well, there's a lot of comic book movies that are not directly based off comic books that are great, like The Joker. And Wonder Woman is not based directly off anything. There's Marvel movies not based directly off anything, and that might be a positive, negative. I've gone on record saying that that is a huge problem for a lot of the things that's happening in the MCU right now. But they still took a lot of comic elements. They had the bombs in the neck of the characters. That's straight from the comics. They had Amanda Waller in charge of them. That's straight from the comics. The relationship between Harley and Joker. It's not like they just did something completely off the wall. It has a bunch of comic elements in it. So after the success of Wonder Woman 2017, people are more of a high for DC in the DCEU. You think, okay, here we go. We're off to the races. People are pushing for it. The trailers for the Justice League start coming out. We're hearing Zack Snyder's coming back for that. People are excited to see what he's going to do. And this is where the DCEU starts falling completely apart. So before the Justice League comes out, the Warner Brothers, DC, HBO, all that stuff is owned by Time Warner Classic. They sell it off to AT&T. Within that transition, with them transitioning from ownership and trying to figure everything out and clean up the mess that was there with Time Warner, Jeff Johns, Josh Whedon, and a few others start running amok. And it's on paper, it's on articles, it's on record on what happens here. Justice League is created in one way. Zach has his 4-hour, 5-hour cut, and he has a certain tone, he has a certain story, but unfortunately, his daughter unalives herself, and he has to try to make this movie under distress like this. His daughter not being alive, him and his wife dealing with it, and all the problems that happens with that. So now that Zach is like that, Jeff Johns and Josh Whedon are coming on set, and at first he thinks that they're just watching him because obviously Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, he made some creative choices there that made fans feel devices over those movies, and he now is like, okay, they're watching me. Maybe they're gonna help me change some things, try to make it lighter, make it more acceptable. Like Wonder Woman, but eventually the scripts get started changed up by Jeff Johns. Josh Whedon starts pushing Zach to the side, and he is now doing the movie himself, changing shots, changing things in the film, and the combination of his baby that he's been working on for so long being taken over by someone else that he was close with, and also the fact that his daughter just passed away. He's like, I'm just gonna step back. If you guys don't want me to really direct this movie and just want to have my name on it and have Josh Whedon like ghost direct this film, I'm just gonna step back and let him do it. That causes a whole bunch of disarray because those actors on set were acting for Zack Snyder. They had a bond, not for Josh Whedon. Once Zack steps away, that's where all the controversy starts. Josh Whedon harassing Gal Gadot, Josh Whedon harassing Ezra Miller, Josh Whedon harassing Ray Fisher. But even people like Ben Affleck said it was an absolute disaster on that Justice League set. And all the reshoots, the changes of the story, the tone of the film is completely changed. And it looks like a comedy film sometimes in that Josh Whedon 2017 Justice League film. It comes out, they instead of pushing it out further in order to get the VFX under control and the changes, because Henry Cavill was on Mission Impossible, and everybody remembers that mustache gate where he had a thick mustache in Mission Impossible, and the Mission Impossible team was not going to let him shave it off because he was in the middle of reshoots of that film and had to come back to reshoots for Justice League. So instead of waiting for them to finish the Mission Impossible reshoots and then him shaving it off and then do the Justice League reshoots, they CGI his lip and it looks absolutely horrendous. And that's the first shot Josh Whedon's picked for his movie, a up close personal look at that Superman face where his lip looks weird, and it just sets a tone for the movie, which is absolutely hilarious to me. So Justice League flops horribly, loses money. They expected it to make $1 billion. The people that owned it at the time rushed the movie out because they wanted to get their bonuses, and it just that was the point that really messed up the DCEU. That people lost faith, because if you don't get the team up movie right, all the connective tissue and things like that, then what's the point? And the Avengers is what really brought people in. Is like, okay, I'm watching all these movies for a reason because eventually it connects, all the storylines come together, and that's what the Justice League was supposed to do. And the Justice League is the greatest superhero team of all time in the comics, and they it's greater than the Avengers, and they fumbled it. And it should have been something that was fumbled. It should have been easy. The redesign of Steppenwolf, all that. I could go on and on about the problems with Justice League and totality. So that happens in 2017. That movie fumbles and flops. Then 2018, a year later, we get Aquaman. James Wan, Jason Momoa, Amber Heard, and a bunch of really great actors come into this movie, and it blows the roof off the building. Aquaman is fantastic. It's another Wonder Woman like hit, but even bigger. Jason Momoa is put into the stratosphere right there, and I think Amber Heard could have been if she didn't mess up and crap on Johnny Depp's pillow. And everything. And the movie makes $1 billion. It's not divisive. You know, not everybody loves that film, but a lot of people love Aquaman. And I thought it was a fantastic film. I think Jason Momoa is a really solid dude, bro. Aquaman, and you know, everybody was hopeful again. It's like, okay, this movie is great. Is it going to be every other movie that we love? Is whoever is doing this, can they move forward? I have Hey Kai, thank you for joining the stream. Too many problems with Justice League. Yeah, if without the background problems, just the movie itself has a whole bunch of issues, and you see it when you see Jack Snyder's Justice League, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. It's just all the background issues that happen with that movie. People not really want to promote it, and it's just bombing. It was just too many problems with that Josh Whedon cut of Justice League. Aquaman comes in, blows the roof off the building. People are like, okay, this is great. It has momentum. Let's do this. After the 2018 Aquaman, here comes Shazam, which is a movie I love. I love the first Shazam. Such a great movie. I had so much fun with it. And it just made sense for them to go this route at this point in the DCU where they have a couple of heroes. The Justice League is here. These guys are heroes. It makes sense for a kid to be bestowed powers and want to be heroes like them. I think the main issue with this movie and why people didn't go see it is because Zachary Levi is not a huge star. Asher Angel and Jack Dylan Grazer, who are part of the main of the trailer, are not huge stars. The suit with all the padding did not look great, so I think that turned off a lot of people. And also, they did not tie Superman enough into the film. I don't know what was going on Henry Cavill at this point because Man of Steel came out in 2013. Batman vs Superman came out a year later, and then Justice League came out in 2017. So this is 2 years later after Justice League, and for some reason they don't want to use Henry Cavill. They're having some issues with him as an actor, and you can tell by the end of that movie, there's a after credit scene with a Superman where his head is cut off. Makes no sense. But Superman should have been more involved in this film because within the DC Comics, Billy Batson is inspired by Superman heavily, and that's why he takes on the form he takes to look like Superman and look like that character. But he's just a funnier version to have that hopefulness and all that stuff. But they don't have that there, so it kind of loses some of his flair. And it also would have brought a lot of people in to see, oh, Superman's going to be involved in this. This is going to be a team up. It would have been perfect, even if Black Adam's not a part of it and he's going against the villain that he's going against, a magic-based villain, which is Superman weakness. It would have just added so much to the connection of the DCEU and just helped Shazam work out a lot more. The movie is not divisive. People love the movie for the most part, as I believe, but the movie doesn't do well at the box office. It bombs, unfortunately, or just barely makes any money. It does worse than the first Ant-Man, which is one of the lower grossing MCU films. So moving on from Shazam, we get Birds of Prey in 2020. Woo! Oh my God. What a film. A film that I actually really like, but a lot of people don't like because something that Spoiler King said, you know, I think it's a really good movie, but it's not a comic book movie though. And I think what your comments on Suicide Squad is actually pertains to Birds of Prey. They have comic book characters in there. They have some of the comic book. They don't really have the comic book lore for the characters either. But the story is so far away from what the actual comic book is that they just are doing this crazy thing, and it doesn't work. A lot of the comic book fans don't like this because Harley Quinn takes over the Birds of Prey storyline, and she doesn't really have any attachment to those characters, that brand. She's a Gotham City siren more than a Birds of Prey, and they didn't have the regular Birds of Prey characters in there, and it really hurt the movie. I think that Harley Quinn was just too much in it, and people didn't really understand what the film was supposed to be about. Let's see what Kyrie says. Birds of Prey could have been good if they didn't make it a Harley Quinn driven movie. Yes, I agree. I think that it was fine that Harley Quinn was in it, but it should have been her. It was too much of focus on there. They had a Cassandra Cain character, which is one of the people's favorite Batgirls, but they didn't make her anything like the character at all. They had Black Mass, and I think that I was going to say Ethan Hawke. It's not Ethan Hawke. Oh my God, Obi-Wan Kenobi. What's his name? I'm forgetting his name right now. But he was a great Black Mask. I think he was really, really fun. I really liked him as the antagonist in that film. I'm really seeing his face right now. I just can't remember his name. But I like that movie a lot. But I understand why a lot of people don't like that movie. Birds of Prey, another bomb. Thank you. Thank you, Geekle. Is it Geekle Dagger? Geekle Dagger? Is that how you say it? Thank you for joining the stream and thank you for that help. I appreciate that. But I thought Ewan McGregor was a great Black Mask. Thought the movie was fun. It was funny, action packed, R rated, really cool. But it just took the approach in a wrong way. It should have had the Birds of Prey as equal billing to Harley Quinn in the story. It was Harley Quinn, and they were there supporting characters, which made no sense. So moving on from Birds of Prey, another bomb, another movie that bombs. It did come out during the pandemic, so it gets a little bit of a grace because it came out like in the beginning of the pandemic. No one was going to go to the movies. Not a lot of people were going to go to the movies to see that. Like I saw it like right before everything went crazy. I think that might have been the last movie I saw before COVID started. And like I saw it, and then like the week after or 2 weeks after, that's when the pandemic started. So the film was just DOA because the few people that probably were going to go see it were not going out to see that movie. So Birds of Prey, a movie that I thought was great. A lot of people don't like, just executed poorly, and another flop in the DCU. At this point, AT&T has already bought the studio from Time Warner, and they still have not made a DC studio. And this is where the problems are lie and everything like that, where it's all this confusion and no one has proper direction. So at this point, they're looking to sell off DC and Warner Brothers in general, honestly, to get it off their books because they're in tons of debt because of it. So we move on from Birds of Prey and we get into another flop, another disaster, Wonder Woman 1984, which is such a big disappointment because, like I said before earlier, the first Wonder Woman was to me, it's a classic. I think it's a classic superhero film. It has all the elements for a classic superhero film. A lot of people love that movie. People were excited for a sequel because how good the first film was. And this one, I think the main issue was that Patty Jenkins took too much control over the film with no leeway, nobody overlooking what she was doing. The first film had Zack Snyder involved, so the tone of the film, the look of the film still has similarities to Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, Man of Steel, so it still felt like it was a part of the DCEU. He helped put together the action sequences in that film, which is a big highlight, especially No Man's Land. Fantastic in that first film. And then I forgot what the writer name is. It's not Chris Terrio. Another writer came in. He came up with the Little Mermaid aspect of, her finding him in the water, taking him out, and that interaction. That's why that love story worked. Wonder Woman 1984 lost all those people and lost all those elements. Let's see what you guys say. Geek Ledger, the way they've been setting up redemption arc for her character, the fact they didn't go all in on Harley becoming a hero like she did in the comics in her anime show was such a cop-out. Absolutely. At that point, she should have just joined the Birds of Prey. If you're going to have it, Harley Quinn, the Birds of Prey and the Harley Quinn Emancipation, blah, 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 blah. I think that's what it was called. They changed the title so many times because they didn't know what they were doing with that movie. I think that it was a cop out. They should have just made her a hero at the point. She already was separated from Joker and she already did something heroic in this film. You're right. Hey, Slim Orion, thank you for joining the stream. How you doing? What's going on with your day? I'm excited for you to be here. What's going on, y'all? Hey, man, we're just talking about DC EU. I'm talking about in the beginning. I talked about the Dark Knight, the importance of that movie, and then I'm talking about how it negatively affected the start of the DCU and how we went down this path that has messed up this franchise. We're talking about Wonder Woman 1984. Yes. So, Clay, I thank you for joining the stream, Clay. I am going through the history of the DCU, the problems that it has had, the wins, the losses, and how we get into what we're going to now with James Gunn's DCU and how we got here. So, we're talking about Wonder Woman 1984 and how that just, whoof. Jay saying, "What's up, Slim?" Jeff Johns co-wrote Wonder Woman 1984, Patty Jenkins. And as I said before, because of the lack of leadership and that transition, Jeff Johns ran amok in the DC universe. Part of it was him writing Wonder Woman 1984 instead of the original writer, him doing the stuff he did with Justice League, and him trying to push the characters that he created in the comics over what made sense for the universe. So that movie had not great CGI. It had a weird storyline with Chris Pine's character taking over another person's body, and then Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman sleeping with that person. That really just hurt the movie. And the storyline itself wasn't terrible in terms of like the superhero storyline, but all the other stuff and the way the action was put together was just not great. I think they messed it up in terms of the action. The action was so great in the first movie for you to take a step back, especially her in Batman vs Superman, her in one and in Justice League, and how great she was in those. I think it just took too much steps back, and she tried to make it too much like the Linda Carter Wonder Woman. You can't go that far back to do that inspiration for Linda Carter when you already shown us what we're getting now. Let's see. I'm honestly a fan of the animated movies. The animated movie universe was so fantastic till Justice League Dark. The recent ones have been okay. I try to give the live action movies a chance, but I can't get into it. That's fair. Except the Batman. That's my jam. Everybody loves that. Jeff John knows one DC character and one DC character alone. Stargirl. That is absolutely fact. And that's why that Stargirl show is really loved, even though it's ending. A lot of people like that show. I know Clay, who's on the stream right now, loves that show. The dude created that character as a tribute to his sister who died in 9/11. Let him have a complete control of that character, but not DC Hall. I 100% agree. I think that they should have let him do whatever he needs because he understands that character and her connection to the JSA. But yeah, he was doing too much and trying to control the DC EU. And that's another problem. Who was in control of the DCU? Was it Zack Snyder? Was it Jeff Johns? There was no figurehead like Kevin Feige in a team that he had. And that's the main issue. There was no particular studio. The Wonder Woman movie frustrated the hell out of me. She was just naive as hell. Yeah, which Wonder Woman is portrayed as someone that is naive in the comics and in the animated series. So I understand that. But I just think that the movie in total just didn't have the correct elements for it to flow together well. Yeah, it was a good show. The fight scenes were mid though. What show are you talking about? Are you talking about Stargirl? Seriously? Because I've seen people post like fight scenes and say the fight scenes are great in Stargirl, especially certain like in the finale and stuff like that. But if that's hey, you would know more than me. I never watched the show, so if that's what you're talking about, then damn. So moving on from Wonder Woman 1984, which was another disaster, and they're really trying to sell it off. HBO Max is born, and they're trying to get people to subscribe to this new service, and that is HBO Go adjacent, and trying to become this premium live service like Netflix and what Disney Plus has and everything. And they're at this point since Justice League came out in 2017, so this is 3 years, or maybe even 3 years of people complaining about wanting to see Zack Snyder's version of Justice League. They struck a deal and they get him to create Zack Snyder Justice League, which for me personally is one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. Me personally, I know that a lot of people, it's up and down, and it's not divisive in a way. I just think people who don't like Zack Snyder's style of films don't like that film. That's fine. That makes sense. But I know people who were off the DC bandwagon, saw that movie and was like, I want more of this because it was so good. The Pantheon, everything. The movie is a global phenomenon. But because of the people who did not like the control that Zack Snyder had over fans and the fandom and wanted to create things their way, they try to bury it as much as possible. The headlines of its success, the headlines of the subscribers that it brought, the headlines of the people that watch it. They try to say, "Oh, it only saw 1.9 million viewers," but when it really saw way more than that. The movie was a global success, and they had something there where they could have just started again from there and built it out from there. They had characters like the Atom they could have debuted and create a movie or show off, just multiple things where the movie was so much better than the Josh Whedon version. But because they had some vendetta against Zack Snyder and everything with the fans, and I understand because there's a lot of toxic Zack Snyder fans, they just pushed it down the drain and wanted to move on from that, unfortunately, and that just caused like a real big divide. At this point, I feel like DC fans were together and they were just like trying to figure out what was going on with the universe. But I think Zack Snyder's Justice League put a clear divide. It was the people who liked Zack Snyder's vision and the people who wanted to move on and see something different. And that's where the more toxicity came in, where it was just a battle. It was that's fair. If you thought it was like I said, it's one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. I thought it was fantastic. I wish I got to see it in the theater. It's going to be in the theaters in April, but it's going to be in LA. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go. That would have been amazing. Declare John Berg, Jeff Johns were co-chairman and co-CEO of DC Films from 2010 to 2017. When Justice League came out, they were fired. John Berg was blacklisted from Hollywood, and Johns was exiled to the CW. Yes, but DC Films wasn't an actual studio, though. Like that was just a label that they had, and they weren't actually like an actual studio where like they were like separate from Warner Brothers and reporting only to the boss. They had so many layers, and it was nobody really working together really well. It was just Jeff Johns making decisions and making the wrong decisions. And I'm glad that they were ousted. I can't believe that they were on there trying to make decisions for 7 years, and through those 7 years, it was just tumultuous. But like I said, Zack Snyder's Justice League was great, and the CW shows I like a lot of them. They falter as the later seasons go on, but I love a lot of the seasons of the Flash. I love a lot of the seasons of the Arrow. I love a lot of seasons of Supergirl. I didn't really watch other stuff. Superman and Lois is one of my favorite comic book shows. I think that show is great, and I'm glad that it's still going on. And James Gunn sees that show is great. But yeah, CW was another thing because now we have different versions of the characters on the channel, which Marvel never has to deal with. So people love Grant Gustin's Flash, but then like when you compare it to Ezra Miller doesn't looks worse, and a lot of that was a problem as well. Yes, yes, that is definitely true. I'm going to get to that. Walter Hamada was brought in 2018 to try to right the ship of DCU, but once again, he didn't have the backing or a real studio behind him like how James Gunn is about to, and have all the resources to do what he needs to do. Because at the end of the day, Walter Hamada could only make a certain amount of decisions because the head of Warner Brothers and a bunch of people under him were ultimately making decisions. He didn't even have control of all of the DC products, like all the shows and the movies and stuff. Like he only had control of all certain things. So that's where the problem really lied. Like when it comes to Kevin Feige, he has control of everything except of the Hulk because of Universal, and anything that Universal owns, I think, is the Hulk and Namor. But everything else, he has Rumshot over, and TV and everything. So, and even a little bit over the comic books. So Walter Martin was fighting an uphill battle with everyone making all these adjacent decisions while he's trying to create this universe that he wanted to create. So yeah, Batgirl was supposed to come out, and that gets canceled because once 18 finally finds someone to sell Warner Brothers to, and that is David Zaslav, who owns Discovery. They do a merger, they sell it off, and he vows to right the ship for DC. While that is happening during the pandemic era, The Suicide Squad by James Gunn comes out. The movie flops financially, obviously because of terrible marketing. People didn't know the difference between this and the original Suicide Squad. I think a lot of people thought maybe the Suicide Squad was like a Zack Snyder Justice League thing for the original Suicide Squad. It has a lot of similar characters, and a lot of people still don't know who James Gunn is just because he made the Guardians and stuff like that. People just know the Guardians is great, but a lot of people don't. James Gunn's not a Christopher Nolan or what's another director that's like a Quentin Tarantino. Like people will go to the Quentin Tarantino movie if they don't even know. James Gunn is not at that level for general audiences. So he does that movie. It doesn't do well financially, but critic wise and audience wise, people love it. It's a smash hit, and they recognize that okay, it comes out during the pandemic, so that's why the film probably doesn't do that well. Plus the terrible marketing because people weren't sure that it was a sequel. It should have been called Suicide Squad 2. That's what I think it should have just been called instead of The Suicide Squad. Really dumb name. Trailer's not clarifying that this is a different story, but James Gunn does something unique and likable for a lot of people that he starts getting to play as one of the mainstays for the new DC that's about to be built because he was supposed to be Kevin Feige's right hand man once the Russo brothers was taken off of it because obviously Endgame was their last film. The next Avengers stuff was going to be under James Gunn, but he decides to leave because of all the controversy that with Disney Marvel firing him because of his tweets. Yeah, so I just brought that up. Slim said, and then James Gunn has sort of a scandal. He did have, it wasn't sort of a scandal. He definitely had a scandal because of the nonsense he was tweeting, but it was years ago. He was saying some wild, crazy comedic stuff that was very inappropriate. Someone exposed him, and Disney felt like he had to get rid of him because that was the midst of like cancel culture. Someone says something wrong, even if it's 10 years ago, you got to get rid of him. So that's what they did, but obviously they brought him back because, like it's James Gunn and he's just too powerful right now, especially with Guardians to do that because the actors were not going to do Guardians 3 without him. And they saw that he's went to DC, made the Suicide Squad. It's a critical hit and it goes crazy on streaming. They're like, we got to bring him back before he writes the shit for DC. And obviously, James Gunn and Peter Safran came in November 2022. They restructured DC Films into DC Studios with the help of David Zaslav, who they report to directly instead of Warner Brothers. Yes, so that's where we're at now. But where you're jumping ahead a bit. You're jumping ahead a bit. So Suicide Squad does good. Peacemaker comes out. It's the #1 show in the world for a couple weeks. It does a fantastic job. Another feather in James Gunn's hat, showing that he can create something that's also a hit. And this is where he gets hired to write the Superman movie that they're already thinking about rebooting everything. They're not thinking about Henry Cavill at all. That comes back later on when it comes to Black Adam. This is where the problem is. Black Adam is completely controlled by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Don't know why. It's very weird that his production company had full creative control over this character, even though it's a DC Warner Brothers character. Not sure what's even happening with that, if they can even do anything with Black Adam moving forward further with how much control they gave over the character. He's been working on the movie for over a decade, and it comes out and it feels like an old school 90s movie. I like Black Adam. It wasn't a great movie, but it wasn't as bad as the critics say and some fans say. It was a fun movie, but it doesn't do well financially, and it doesn't do well critic-wise. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was fighting for control of DC. He wanted to be the one that was shaping DC, not knowing also James Gunn was in the bid and Peter Safran was in the bid to doing that. But James Gunn has the upper hand because he has the Suicide Squad under his belt. He did Guardians of the Galaxy, 2 of the most successful Marvel movies. He was Kevin Feige's right-hand man, so David Zaslav, he already has the mind to do it if Kevin Feige, who's successful, was going to anoint this man. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson comes. He gets everything he asked for. JSA. Well, he wanted the Justice League. He doesn't get the Justice League because we don't know who the Justice League is at this point in the DCU. So he gets the JSA instead. And then he gets Henry Cavill back, even though they're not going to hire Henry Cavill back as Superman, which causes so much controversy because so many people were hyped, but they expected Henry Cavill to draw in the crowd, which was really, really weird because the superheroes, the actors are not what draws in these people from the movies. It's the characters. And at that point, we haven't seen Superman in so long. And people were not going to come to see an after credit scene. He should have been in the movie if they were really going to do that. They should have really had Henry Cavill in the movie. They were going to do it to really for it to happen. So it was set up for failure. Let's see what these guys got to say. Context. At this time, he tweeted those jokes out. He was the CEO of softcore porn studio. That was the culture of that industry. He eventually left the industry after returning to Catholicism. Yes, that is definitely true. Thank you for bringing that up. He was in that, and it was some other stuff. It wasn't only the softcore porn. He was in part of a comedy group too that made certain movies that had that kind of humor as well. But that's the full context of it. And thank you for Geek Leader. I'm glad you're on the stream. You're helping this go smooth and filling in those holes. It was good. It just made him a hero. Took out all the gray. Yes, because honestly, Black Adam is like Namor, where he is a bad guy that sometimes does heroic stuff if it fits and helps him and his people. So he's not a good person. And that's where The Rock messed up, because he doesn't want to be a bad guy. He wants to be a hero. But he messed it up by trying to be a hero. And if you're a Black Adam fan, you're going in like, this is not the Black Adam I know. This is not the JSI I know. So this is hurting those type of fans. And then the general audience is already hurt with the DC brand because of, like I said before, problem after problem after problem, flop after flop after flop. Then we get Zack Snyder's Justice League, which many consider a fantastic film, and then you're saying you're not continuing on for that. So it's like, what the hell? Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of things about The Rock in DC, which I'm about to get into a little bit as well right now. Nah, more. Nah, more. No more. I like that. That's cool. If they're gonna change his ethnicity, well, he didn't really have a clear ethnicity in the comics, but make him Spanish, giving him a little flavor to his name, it's cool. And we still could call him Namor. Namor. It's cool. Telecon, LMAO. So moving on to this, another disaster for DC, which is Black Adam, which shouldn't have been a disaster. Thought it was a good movie, but once again, people didn't go see it. It tanks, and the critics hate it, because at this point, I think the critics have not only comic book movie fatigue, but they also are just rooting against comic book movies. And I think that's very clear for movies like Black Adam, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman 1984, even though that deserve it kind of bit, Birds of Prey, and Shazam, is that at this point, because of the success of Marvel Studios, critics are rooting against comic book movies actively. You have to really knock it out of the park for them to see you in a positive light at this point, because they are sad and mad that these superhero movies are eating up so much of the business, and a lot of the smaller movies and the mid-tier movies are not making a lot of money. And that's why they're applauding the failure of Ant-Man and Creed and Scream, and then John Wick this week are eating up the box office and dominating an Ant-Man movie, which is, it's Ant-Man. It's always one of the lowest box office films in the MCU, but you have to keep that in mind when you think about what's going on with these box offices and the critic scores for these films. They're actively rooting against these films. So even if they have a little bit, or they're not like fantastic films, they're shitting on it. Dwayne gave DC the people's elbow to get what he wanted. he tried, man. He did it with the slide, with the glasses and the shirt suits and everything. And it just did not work. It did not work out. His power play did not work. So at this point, we get announced that James Gunn, let me see. James Gunn also helped Zack Snyder fund his directorial debut, The Dawn of the Dead, back during that time. That eventually led to Zack Snyder being hired by DC for Watchmen and in turn Man of Steel. 100%. Yes, James Gunn and Zack Snyder are friends, and they've worked on projects before. And James Gunn also, I think, either he co-wrote on that Dawn of the Dead movie as well. He didn't also do the funding as well. So he was a producer and a co-writer. And that's one of the greatest zombie movies of all time. And yes, he did. He ended up doing Watchmen, which to me is one of the greatest comic movies of all time. I love that film, even though it's not the perfect adaptation like people want. But yeah, James Gunn definitely was a part of that. He's not against Zack Snyder like people think. He just has a vision of DC that is different from Zack Snyder's vision. So we get Zack Snyder, Peter Safran as the new leaders of a new studio called DC Studios, making the DCEU. This is announced shortly after the failure of Black Adam, and takes a lot of the negative press away from that movie. And people are in a disarray, like what's going to happen, what's going on, is it going to be rebooted? All these rumors are coming out. James Gunn is very active on Twitter, dismaying whatever rumors he can do. Geek Ledger with the behind the scene facts. That is a fact. That is a fact. He's filling those holes that I am not talking about, and I love you for that. You're great, man. Um, he a lot of controversies going on. What's going on? So the biggest first controversy that happens is that we see Henry Cavill come back for Black Adam, but then we find out that the Superman movie that is going to be coming out soon, that's rumored, is not going to be starring Henry Cavill. He went to meet with James Gunn. They're moving in a different direction. He wants a younger Superman, and he wants to kind of start over a little bit, but not start over directly from the beginning. And for some reason, Henry Cavill can't fit into that for some reason, even though Henry Cavill doesn't look that old, to be honest with you. But that's besides the point. So everybody thinks he's going to reboot the universe, but he comes out and says he is not. He's not going to reboot the universe. We get a video, which was not greatly produced. I feel like if you're going to create a new studio, drop all these things, they could have did something with a little bit more fanfare. But he comes out and brings out his slate, talks about Shazam! Fury of the Gods, and that's the next movie I'm going to talk about. Just recently came out, and unfortunately, it's another flop for DC. It's not doing well at the box office. It's getting panned by critics, but it has a high audience score, high Google rating, high in terms of audience, except the cinema score, it has high ratings. I personally saw it. My review is on this channel if you want to check out my full thoughts on it. I thought it was a great film. I had so much fun with it. I laughed. I got emotional with the film. I thought it was really great, and I think it was well made and better than a lot of the MCU movies have been made so far. Maybe not better than their stories, but I think it was better made than a lot of MCU films recently. So it's unfortunate that film, which was a lot of fun and just refreshing, just gets super panned by the critics, and now is no one's going to see it, which it was already in a losing battle with the fact that the first Shazam, not a lot of people went to go see it, so it wasn't like a high bar for it to go to. And then also Zachary Levi on top of that, tweeting controversial tweets that have put people in a sour taste with him, and now they don't want to see anything he's in. So, and he's the star of the show in Shazam, and it's more him than Ashley Angel in that film. So that movie is not doing well. It's going to be another flop, unfortunately, even though it had a low budget and it's just being panned critically. And I think part of it with the James Gunn not being clear that these next 4 movies that were coming out this year for the DC was a part of his DCEU. His DCU, because he kind of said it in his video, but he wasn't 100% clear, because he says when he says Superman Legacy, that's the real start of the DCU. And that is the problem. Why I feel like a lot of people why am I going to watch this movie in theaters? I don't care about this. It's not going to matter anyway. But then he says on Twitter, oh no, but if it does well, it will matter and we'll connect it. And then that's not enough. You have to publicly say that on a big video if you want the general audiences to go see this movie and support it. Goddamn, more tweets. Yeah, man, these tweets just getting everybody in trouble. A lot of the problems in this movie industry is the tweets. Yeah, he's like doing like anti-vax tweets, and he has like some other takes that I didn't really read into that a lot of people have issues with. Get these people off Twitter. Yeah, people need to just get off Twitter. Just don't share those kind of opinions. My grandfather was a producer in the industry for 30 years, indie films and some TV shows. My grandfather even produced the first Godfather movie. Wow, that's also, you have some people in here, but forced out by the studio for the sequel. Oh man, that sucks. And so your grandfather could kind of understand what Zack Snyder and some of these people were going through, being forced off their projects, even though they brought some success and had a vision and everything like that. That's crazy. Well, congrats to your grandfather for accomplishing that. What, like, The Godfather is one of the greatest movies of all time, even though I've never seen it, but that's what people say. So for him to come on and been a big part of that, that's super dope. Congrats to your grandfather. Tell him that if he's still alive. Their accounts need to be disabled during production. That is during production, during the run of the movie, and a little bit post of the movie. They need to have a handler. And people used to have, that's what's wrong these days. People used to have handlers who handled what they posted, what they did not post, and that's lost for these movie stars and for these movie actors. They're just doing whatever they want on their Twitters and causing problems for these movies and hurting all these other people who may not have the same opinion. Letitia Wright comments, hurt Black Panther. Wakanda Forever as well. Other than the recast of T'Challa stuff that was going on, the Letitia Wright's anti-vax and stuff like that, and some of the other stuff that she was going on about hurt that movie as well. People not wanting to see her in that role. Matter of fact, just take them off social media. Period. I don't think that's possible because social media is so powerful and it helps promote movies. Like a lot of movies I find out is because my favorite actor tweets about it, puts it on Instagram and stuff like that. So I don't see them doing that. But they definitely need somebody to handle them. Somebody that, like, before they post something, to check it out beforehand, Geek Ledger. I highly recommend watching the Paramount's The Offer. It chronicles the story of how my grandfather got into the industry and produced The Godfather with the help of the actual New York Mafia. What? That's about your that is so crazy. That's about your grandfather. That's on my list to watch. That makes me even more want to. That makes me want to watch it even more. That is so cool. Nah, Clay, I'm about to talk about why that's not fine. And I shared it in our general chat that we have together. So amongst all this drama, Zachary Levi on Instagram, so you talk about they sharing pics, shares an article on his story talking about how Dwayne Johnson blocked a cameo that Shazam was supposed to have inside of the Black Adam movie, where he was supposed to be recruited by the JSA. That was supposed to happen in that movie. And then he was supposed to cameo in the Shazam movie, but he said no because he just want nothing to do with Shazam, which makes no sense because Black Adam is a Shazam villain. And Zachary Levi posted that himself with the quotation saying, "The truth will set you free." So that man just, like, after Dwayne Johnson is gracefully bowed out of the DC universe, he's tried his hardest to take his L as nicely as possible. Warner Brothers is posting a hit thing on him, and it makes me feel like the same thing that was happening before with Warner Brothers and how they were attacking their creators, the directors, and their actors, especially like Ray Fisher. We didn't really talk about the Ray Fisher stuff with Jeff Johns and how crazy that was, and how I stand with Ray Fisher and I believe him, and how they try to destroy their actors and stuff like that. It feels like it's still happening. I don't know if this is James Gunn. I'm not going to put this on James Gunn, but this might be David Zaslav and his people. And I think that it's not great. If Dwayne Johnson is bowed out, he's not suing. I heard that he might be suing Warner Brothers, and that may be why they're doing this. If he is suing Warner Brothers, I get why they're trying to put him down and make him look bad. But if he's not, they shouldn't have done this. And I think Zachary Levi should have just left this alone. He really needs to get his social media just either handled or taken away from him, because he's gonna mess up his career by doing all this. People are not going to side with Zachary Levi. They're going to side with Dwayne. They're going to be like, yeah, you shouldn't be in the dang movie. So that is the movies that have came out in the DCU so far. To end the DCU for the rest of the year, we have The Flash, which is another movie garnered by controversy because Ezra Miller and his all the stuff that he's been doing over the past 2 or 3 years that he's going to be on trial for. It's alleged. It's not 100% truth, but it's leaning towards, yeah, it's the truth because he's pleaded guilty for certain things, but not the bigger things. So him being the star of that film, him having so much problems and being so much involved in that film is gonna cause problems for that film. The trailer looked absolutely fantastic. I'm excited for the movie, but I know a lot of people are probably not going to watch that film, Clay included. He's in the chat, because Ezra Miller is the star. So another movie that's going to be, I don't know if the hype and the word of mouth for the film, because the word of mouth for the film has been fantastic, will overcome all that. But yeah, what he said, god damn it, he said, nah, we need to know Shazam is being left out of Black Lightning. Do you mean Black Adam? Yeah, but no, he is. He was supposed. This has been going on for a while, where they've talked about how Shazam was supposed to be, Black Adam was supposed to be in the first Shazam, and Dwayne said no. That's why there's like a little hologram of him in there, because they wanted to mention him, but Dwayne didn't want to be in the movie. But he was supposed to make a cameo in the first Shazam. He turned it down. Then he was supposed to be the villain of Shazam 2. He turned it down. So they said, hey, just make a cameo, and then he makes a cameo in your movie. He said no. and it just caused problems because Shazam and Black Adam are supposed to be together. He's trying to make Henry Cavill his arch nemesis because Henry Cavill is signed to his wife's production company or management team and trying to make them the two focal points of the DC EU at that point, and it just didn't work out. If he was a better Barry, I forgive him for being a menace. Yeah, like I said, I do agree that he doesn't um feel like the character like he should be, especially with there being Grant Gustin, who does feel more like the character, especially in later seasons. He felt more like Wally in the beginning, but later on, he started feeling more like Barry Allen. So I agree with you on that he doesn't feel exactly how Barry Allen should feel. But there's a lot of characters in comic book movies that don't feel like how characters should feel, and we don't mind. So that's also a thing. And I think he had a great performance in Zack Snyder's Justice League compared to what they try to do with him in Justice League, where Jeff Johns cut out a lot of the scenes because of his non-binariness, because he targeted all the minority people in that movie. But I understand what you're saying. So Flash is coming out. That is out to see if it flops or not. If it does bangers, I don't know what the heck James Gunn is going to do at that point, because that movie is he's hyping that movie up as one of the greatest comic book movies. It's going to reset the DCU, and it's going to really set off what he's doing going further. So if it does and it doesn't do well, that means a lot of people aren't going to see it. It's going to cause real problems for his DCU to start with. Then we have Blue Beetle, which I'm kind of excited for. Blue Beetle is a character that I like a lot. They got the actor that everybody's been fan casting as the character. They have two directors that I think are talented directors and could do a great job. And I'm really excited to see what that film comes. The suit looks amazing, looks comic accurate, and actually looks really good live action. And with all the CGI and VFX that they're going to do in post production, it's probably going to look phenomenal. Zolo, I'm really excited to see what he does in this film. I think he's a good actor, and I'm hoping that it does well. I'm just scared because the DC movie, it's an unknown character. It might fall into the Shazam thing where people are like, I'm not going to watch this film. But Spanish people are the second biggest movie going audience, and if they play up on the fact that this is a Spanish superhero, and I don't think we've had a live action Spanish superhero star in a movie, this could be really big for them. We had Namor, but Namor is not originally Spanish, and he's not the star of Wakanda Forever. This is going to be a Spanish hero that's originally Spanish being the star of the film. So it's a possibility this movie could do well, and hopefully he does, so it can continue in the proper DCU. After that, we have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Aquaman is the most successful DC EU film to date, and there's a lot of anticipation for the follow-up because they feel like it could be another big movie, another fun movie, another great film. I think Jason Momoa is a better actor now than he was in the first film, so I think that he's going to do a great job as the character. Again, Amber Heard's role is severely subdued to the point where she's said that she's basically taken out of the movie, which I think is for the best. And we're gonna have a bunch new characters. Black Manta's gonna be more in the movie. The movie has the elements to be great, but the test screenings that for the movie have not done well, so that scares me. Where now this movie might be another flop, which is not great, because if we have 3 more flops in the DCEU, I think it spells trouble for the DCEU. Even if it feels like a brand new thing, the fact that it's still going to be connected to the original universe and somehow, because he's not fully rebooting it, is going to cause issues. It's going to cause issues, and people may not want to go see the Superman film. Or already people are mad that Henry Cavill is not Superman. So there's going to be always that camp that's going to reject this movie because of that. And then we'll see what the general audience feels. But now with that wrapped up, and once Aquaman comes out, I'm gonna do a ranking of all the DCU films and how I feel, and which is number one and which I think is the worst. I'll do that ranking once the DCEU is wrapped up in totality. When Aquaman comes out, I'll probably have it. I think Aquaman comes out in December, so I'm probably gonna have like a week of lists coming out that week of like top 10 movie shows and all that stuff. So look out for that later this year. But let's talk about the proper DCU. Oh, wait. Geek Zeller, he's dropping the heat, so I gotta see what he got to say. Shit, there's breaking Shazam drama going on between Grace Caroline Curry, the actress who played. What? Oh no. Okay. Hold on. Dropping the facts. We getting breaking news, guys. Breaking news during the stream. Yick Zeller, you're my guy. I hope you subscribe to the channel and join past streams. I stream every Tuesday. You're good. You're gonna be my breaking news guy. She's accusing Zachary Levi of leaking intimate photos of her on 4chan after she revealed in an interview that they were in. Wait. What? Holy crap. This is a lot. Zachary Levi is done. He's finito. Forget what I said about Shazam possibly being brought back. This, unless somehow he can prove that this is not true and she's lying on her teeth, this movie is done. David S. Sandberg already said he's done with Shazam. David S. Sandberg already said he's done with Shazam and he's cultivated that story. Zachary Levi seems like he's going to be too much of a problem. He is tripping. And this accusation is heavy. If it's proven to be true, she was literally for leaking intimate photos of her off to 4chan. First of all, I'm gonna have to go to Reddit to see what's going on. But other than that, me being whatever, she revealed in an interview that they were in a secret relationship. I did not know that, and I don't blame him because she's fine. But why would she reveal that in an interview? I need to go look that up because I didn't even know she did that. I'm surprised that's not bigger news. And why would she reveal that if they're in a secret relationship? That doesn't make any sense to me. Isn't she like young and he's, well, in Hollywood that doesn't seem like that makes sense. But wow, guys, if you're on the stream, breaking news, even more drama coming from the Shazam family, directly from the family itself, brother and sister going against each other after they get into a relationship. Sounds crazy. Obviously they're not brother and sister in real life, but wow. DC, man. If you can't account it for having a banger movie or box office, you can account it for having drama. Seems like it never stops. Damn, I see why The Rock wants Superman. Yeah. Dwayne Johnson probably knew that Zachary Levi was wilding, and he was just like, yeah, nah. I'm not trying to have this man on my movie. Because at least I won't have controversy like this surrounding my films, because that is nuts. That is nuts. Geek Ledger, if you get any more news on it, keep updating me on that and we'll talk about it. But I'm going to get into the DCU announcement. This part of the video is going to be talking about the new DCU, all the films and television shows, all the film and television shows that he announced, the inspirations, what comics that you can look forward to reading if you want to know what's going on and have a feel of what each thing is going to feel like, and some little details that I have about everything. So let me read this last thing. Geek Ledger, Zachary Levi unmasked for real this year. That is a fact. This is not looking good for him for not only DC, but just future projects he wants to act in. Maybe this is why they replaced him in the Thor series, because he was part of the Thor movies, the Thor 1 as one of the 3 warriors, and they replaced him in Thor 2. Maybe they knew he was a problem from then, and they were like, yeah, let's not even bother with you. Because, jeez. And I really like Zachary Levi, but yeah, this is too much. That's insane. Leaking intimate photos on 4chan? That's crazy. But yeah, let's get back into the DCU itself. I'm glad you guys have been interactive. This has been really fun. I've been planning on this for a while. If you're just joining the stream, I am now talking about the future slate of DCU, explaining what the movies that are dropping, the things that are inspiring it, and what I feel like, how I feel overall about James Gunn's universe that he's trying to build out. So let's start off with Superman Legacy. Superman is my favorite superhero of all time. Well, sorry, my favorite DC superhero of all time. He's my second favorite superhero overall, with Spider-Man leading that pack at all times. And we've been needing a Superman movie for a while. I think that he's a pillar of the DC universe, and he should be having a movie every couple of years. I don't understand why it's been 10 years since the last Superman movie. It doesn't make any sense. But Superman Legacy will take inspiration from the tone of All-Star Superman, one of the greatest Superman comics and runs of all time by Grant Morrison. It's a comic book that is separated from the rest of the continuity of the main DC universe. It was just a story told within, but it's considered canon to a lot of people, I think, later on because it's so good. It's a great movie. I mean, great comic book, and I think it's a great way to take the tone because even the All Star DC, the All Star Superman animated film was really great. So the tone of that feels a lot like Superman, and the things that Grant Morrison said that he wanted to take, he wanted to make a universal take on the hero without going and doing his origin story over and reshifting, reinventing, and updating the character for a modern audience. And that sounds exactly like what James Gunn wants to do for this Superman based on what he's saying. He's taking a Matt Reeves the Batman approach, where he's not going to start at the beginning, but he's going to start with the character early on. Like the Batman is year 2 of the Batman, so it's not the origin story again, but he's still early in his career. I think that's what he's going to do here, where the Superman is early in his career and trying to deal with his heritage as a Kryptonian, his place on Earth as he disguises himself as a human, and what it means to be Superman, while also juggling his job, his relationships, and that tone that they had there, and reinventing the character for the modern era and what that looks like. And I think that All Star Superman is a great approach to that. And I think if you guys want to know or what to expect, you should definitely just read All Star Superman if you read comics in general, because it's a great comic. But I think that's a great comic to pick up and read to figure out what is going to be going on in terms of how the tone is going to feel for Superman, or even watch the animated movie because the animated movie captures it really well. Moving on from Superman Legacy, and if you're watching, let me know if you're excited for Superman Legacy, what you expect, what you want from the character in the movie, and everything going on with that. And drop those comments below as I move on to the next film. Hold on, before I do that, Clay says that what I'm worried about is them making video games canon to movies. Yeah, when he said that it's going to be connected between movies, television, animated, and video games, that has me really worried, because I think that that's too much of a stretch for audiences, unless they do it in a way where you don't have to play the video games heavy so you to enjoy the movie. But then at that point, what's the point? Like, just let people make their own original video games. I want more DC video games, but other than Batman all the time, but being connected to the movies and shows, I feel like it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be too much. So we'll see what happens. It's ambitious. It's never been done before. We'll see what happens. But moving on to another person in the Superman mythos and family, Supergirl. We're gonna be getting an adaptation of a recent comic, Superman Woman of Tomorrow. And I'm kind of excited about this. This is Tom King's recent run on the character. It was a couple of issues. It happened between 2021 and 2022. I think it was like 12 issues or something like that, where it shows the origins of Supergirl in a different way, where when Krypton was destroyed, she got stuck on a part of the planet that didn't blow up, and she had to watch all the people that she loved, cared about, just die and waste away, and her planet go away. So this caused her to be jaded and depressed and have a different disposition than Superman. And I feel like she's always kind of had a different disposition than Superman. You know, Superman's this hopeful guy that feels like he's human and he wants to protect everyone. Supergirl's a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more jaded, and more what's the word I'm looking for? Cynical than Clark is. So I think this is a great take to bring this character and have them be very different and explain why both characters are on the screen at the same time, because they both have the same personality, kind of like what they did with Supergirl in the CW series, where she kind of had the personality of Superman. It's like, why have both? So I think that's why they ended Supergirl and then did Superman and Lois, because the characters are so similar. But another part of it is that character, you know, they show the origins of that, but then they show the character on Earth already knowing Clark, and she decides to go to a planet with a red sun so she could lose her powers, drink alcohol for her birthday. She brings Crypto the dog, so that's cool if they introduce that. And she gets a hint of, with her, while she's doing her celebration, she gets a hint of who destroyed Krypton, and she goes on a tour of going on planet to planet trying to get revenge on the person or entity or people who destroyed Krypton. So I think this sounds like a dope film. I think this is an amazing amazing premise, and I think it's going to be very different from what we're getting in Superman Legacy, which I think is really great. And then that Superman can be in this movie, and I feel like this Superman and casting is going to be very important. And this movie's going to be very important. I feel like the Superman is going to be involved in a lot of films moving forward, making cameos, including Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. I thought it was because she had a kid. That I don't think that's what it is. I think that was like the big thing that they put in the headlines. But she shortly started making stuff right after she had that kid, so she didn't have to quit Supergirl for that. I think that they wanted to end it because they knew they were going to make Superman and Lois. They knew that it was going to be made with more love and care than most CW shows, and it was just Supergirl was just running its course, and its ratings was just going down, going lower than 1 million views per week. So it just made more sense just to end it and just move on, because Superman Lois was supposed to be the start of a new CW Arrowverse that they were trying to spin things out of. But obviously that's not going to happen now because James Gunn is cutting all that out. We're probably going to get 2 more seasons of Superman and Lois, where it ends right before Superman Legacy comes out, and then we'll just move on with everything going on in the DCU. So yeah, that was me talking about Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Another big one, which I'm kind of excited for, but I'm kind of scared for, because this is a group of heroes. Oh, I gotta drink some water. This is a group of heroes that are not really known, which James Gunn is really good at. So I can see him knocking it out of the park, but I understand what the hook is and what he's going for. Makes sense. People didn't like her. Really? People didn't like Melissa Benoit, Supergirl? When I talk on forums and Facebook, people like her. I think people had a problem with the show's writing and then pushing kind of like agendas ahead of the story. A lot of the times, I think that was a prime example where people could go and like, oh, look, them pushing agendas. They did that a lot in that show, even though I liked it. But the Authority, that is a big product that's coming out of this, that's going to be coming out of the DCU. And the Authority was created by Warren Ellis. It was originally characters under the Wildstorm imprint, a comic book imprint that was like a subsidiary of DC, where a subsidiary of DC that was made from make wild stuff, kind of like Vertigo back in the day. So they, like, creators can make cool different things that were adjacent to the DC universe, but if it worked out, they can go in and out of the DCU. Eventually, those characters were put into the proper DCU comic books, and the Authority are a bunch of characters that arose from the ashes of the Stormwatch. Stormwatch was a government-based superhero group in the DCU that got destroyed and got jaded because they realized the government was using them for wrong things, and they called the Authority because they're causing their own authority over law and order. They're doing things the way they want. They don't abide by the laws. They don't abide by the cops. They don't abide by other morals from other superheroes, which makes them go in conflict with other superheroes. And they're a lot more cynical when it comes to the world than other heroes are in the DC universe. So where I see this this could be a great movie. They also interact with Batman a lot, especially Midnighter. Ooh, my voice just cracked. And they recently had a comic with Superman. And like I said, I felt like this Superman is going to cameo a lot. I feel like they're going to find a way to do Superman and Authority, bringing that together, especially with them incorporating All-Star Superman. I think they're going to find a way to make the Superman not be as broken as he usually is and lose some of his power by the end of that movie. And then he tries to bring the Authority over, maybe make a cameo at the end of that movie, and we get Superman and the Authority as like a sequel, or Superman versus the Authority or something like that, because he does interact with those characters. Just recently, that comic was just maybe 2 years old. So I think that is where they're going to lead to. But the Authority, and why I see why he's making this film, and I see what James Gunn is doing. He sees what everyone is doing in terms of like outside of the MCU and outside of DCU and what their success is. And I think he's going to piggyback off the success of The Boys. I think this is going to be very similar to the tone of The Boys. I think it's going to be similar to the tone of Invincible. And he's going to use the tone of the boys, the characterizations and things they do there for the Authority, and that's what we're going to be looking at. I think it's going to be R-rated. I think you're going to expect a big budget, the boys, but with the Authority and their storyline. So I think that's the tone you're going to be looking for, and what that movie is going to be about more. The something like the DC version of the boys. Which is funny because the boys is making fun of DC with their characters. So I think that is going to be really, really great. Moving on after that is Batman Brave and the Bold. And I think Grant Morrison is about to get paid because this is another Grant Morrison comic, another Grant Morrison run that is being inspired by his Superman is inspired in Superman, and his Batman is inspired in Batman. And I can see James Gunn is a very, very big fan of his writing, and Tom King. So in this run of Grant Morrison's Batman, this is where we get introduced to Damian Wayne. And James Gunn has already announced that Damian Wayne is going to be the Robin in this film, which I'm excited for because Damian is my favorite Robin. Let me know who your favorite Robin is for the people who are watching after and people who are watching live. I think Damian Wayne is going to be a big part of this, but also in this storyline and his run was Batman Rest in Peace, where Batman is presumably dead and the Bat family has to take a bigger role in protecting Gotham and the world and the Justice League and stuff like that. And Dick Grayson eventually takes over and becomes the Batman of that time. For the time, and then eventually it finds out Bruce Wayne's not dead, and he's been doing other stuff in the shadows, and he comes back and takes his mantle back and over. So that might be a bit of a spoiler, but that is the inspiration of this book, and I can see that because the things that James Gunn has said about this movie. He said that Damian Wayne is going to be a big part of this movie. He's going to be the Robin here, and he said that he's going to make the Bat family integral parts of the film and everything that's going on. So I feel like that is where we're kind of go at. Probably they're going to take some liberties and change things, but he has Grant Morrison coming in and advising him on to tell the story. And I think that this could be really, really exciting, especially since it's going to be an older Batman with a kid, while we're still having the Batman, the Matt Reeves version in that universe with a younger Batman. And just to talk about that, since I brought it up, he also stated that there's going to be a DC Elseworlds for some of the remnants of things that popular but are not going to be in the proper mainstream DCU connected universe. So the Batman will be considered elsewhere. So any spinoffs from that, like the Penguin, we're supposed to be getting a Gotham City PD show, and we might get a Catwoman spinoff. Anything that's dealing with that will be considered Elseworlds. It will be self-contained within itself and not connected to anything. And maybe possibly if they do multiverse stuff, that Batman can show up in a future movie. But I don't think Matt Reeves is going to let that happen. Then the Joker, Todd Phillips Joker, Elseworlds. Anything that comes out of that, the second film, if they decide to do a spinoff somehow, if he decides to do a third film after that, that will be labeled Elseworlds as well. He says it's going to be clearly labeled as Elseworlds. Teen Titans Go, an animated show that's been going on for a long time. It's very popular. People love that show, and it gets consistent ratings. That will be DC Elseworlds. Superman and Lois, a popular CW show. I love that show. One of my favorite comic book shows ever because of how well they depict Superman and do his mythos really well. We'll go on for a couple more seasons. That will be clearly CW. Everyone knows that's separate, but that will be under the Elseworlds banner moving forward. And anything else that's separate, I don't know anything about Young Justice. I don't know if that will be moving forward. That might get canceled. We already know Titans is canceled and Doom Patrol is canceled, so those are done. Doom Patrol and Titans are done. Dick is always going to be my favorite. Pause. You didn't really think that one through, Clay. You didn't really think that one through. But yeah, Dick Grayson is most people's favorite Robin. He's probably my second favorite Robin. I love Dick Grayson. I like him more as Nightwing. I think that's why he's my second favorite as Robin, because I think he's better as Nightwing. And Damian is a great, great Robin. And he hasn't evolved into anything else. All the other Robins have evolved into something else, which make them better than being a Robin. Like Jason Todd is best as Red Hood. He's not, than Robin. Tim Drake is best as Red Robin or whatever his name is now than just a regular Robin. And Dick Grayson's best form is Nightwing. So that's why Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin, because he is Robin, and he's going to be like that for a while until he turns into Batman, which they've already teased that in the future when he grows up, he will be Batman. So yeah, so that's why Damian is my favorite. And yeah, that's fair. Thank you for agreeing with me. So Batman Brave and the Bold. If you want to know the inspiration for that, Grant Morrison's run on the comic, what he did for I think it was 5 years, 6 years he was on that run. Check that out so you can get the tone, whether the stories are inspired, and what you can expect from that film. And how it'll be very different from the Batman. Especially since it's going to have the Bat family. I don't think the Batman is going to introduce the Bat family like that at all. It's going to be focused on the character, Batman, and his rogues gallery. Um, Moving on to something that I'm really excited for is Swamp Thing. We're going to be getting a Swamp Thing movie, which is interesting because we had a Swamp Thing show that people liked a lot, but it got canceled because things got too expensive and stuff like that, not the quality of the show. So the Swamp Thing movie is going to be inspired by the Alan Moore run, which is considered one of the best versions of Swamp Thing. And in Alan Moore run, he threw away a lot of the stuff that was part of the Swamp Thing mythos and what he was doing. And I see that people join the stream. Thank you for joining the stream. Let me know how you guys are doing tonight, and you have any opinions on the new DC slate. I'm finally going over each movie and how I feel and what's inspiring it. And let me know. I'm on Swamp Thing right now. So the Alan Moore run focused heavily on Swamp Thing being a monster and dealing with other monsters and the horror aspect on it, which makes sense because this is going to be the DCU's first R-rated horror film. And the movie is rumored to be directed by James Mangold, who directed Logan, 4v Ferrari, and 310 to Yuma, which are considered three fantastic. Well, Logan is one of the greatest comic book movies of all time, but 4v Ferrari is a great film. 310 Yuma is a great Western. So that gives me a lot of hope because that's a great director, and to have him come over to the DCU is a big deal because I'm a little scared with all this controversy that's going on. So a lot of directors and actors may want to stray away from it because of all that. So guys, let me know how you're excited about Swamp Thing and Batman Brave and the Bold and what you think and what you expect from these two. So that's all the movies that were announced for the new DCU going forward. And James Gunn has said that this is the first half of this new slate. It's called Gods and Monsters, which I have a feeling I understand where that's coming from based on the first couple movies and things that he's coming out. And a lot of that is going into Lanterns. We're getting a Green Lantern TV show on HBO Max. It's going to be starring Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. I don't know why I blanked on his name just now. Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart in a true detective style police procedural show where they serve and protect the Earth sector and the planets around the Earth sector, which I think could be really, really fun. He said other lanterns will show up in the show, but it will focus on Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart being like a buddy cops and having different personalities playing off each other. It's going to have some comedy. It's going to be space opera-ish and true detective-ish inspired by that. And it's supposed to be 10 episodes. Spend a lot of money on it so it can look good. And they said that while they're doing their space patrol, being cops and doing their thing, because Green Lanterns are basically space cops, I think that's a really great way to tackle them. And that influence from the Dark Knight I was talking about early in the stream, I think that taking another genre and combining it with the comic book thing will make this work really well. So while they're investigating and looking and doing stuff, they're going to find a secret that affects not only their sector, but the greater DCU. So when it comes to the label Gods and Monsters, I think that Superman is going to be dealing with those themes, him being considered a god. I think Supergirl will be dealing with those themes, dealing with monsters. I think the Authority will be dealing with monsters. I think Batman Brave and the Bold will probably be dealing with monsters. We might be getting to see some of Batman's supernatural rogue gallery, which I'm excited for, because we've been dealing with like a lot of the regulars. We haven't. I think we got Killer Croc, but he was in the Suicide Squad. He never actually interacted with Batman, which is a shame. So I'm excited to see maybe Bat, Killer Croc. I'm trying to think of his other supernatural villains. If you remember more supernatural villains from Batman, like Mr. Freeze and stuff like that, things that are more monstrous in Batman's rogue gallery. I'm excited to see that, and I think that's what he's going to do to make Batman Brave and the Bold different from the Batman itself, so it gets separated. This is going to have some supernatural in. We might see Etrigan, we might see stuff like that, while the Batman deals with the realistic. He'll deal with the Joker, he'll deal with the Riddler, he'll deal with stuff like that instead, so those movies can feel separate. And Swamp Thing, obviously, he's picking the Alan Moore run where Swamp Thing is more of a monster and deal with monster things. That's part of the gods and monsters. And Swamp Thing's mythos deals with a god and stuff like that as well. And the Lanterns, I feel like they're going to find a celestial god that's trying to start things. It might be Darkseid. I've always said that I feel like the Green Lanterns should interact with Darkseid first. It just really makes sense because they're the ones that patrol the space and he'll be out there. So that could be a possible thing. And I'll be a great reveal in the Green Lantern show and make it very watchable and talkable amongst people. He also announced that we're going to get a Booster Gold show. I think that there's not a lot of details about what he said. He said that Booster Gold is going to be a loser that travels from his time in 2020 or 3025 to the present time and tries to use his knowledge to get fortune and fame, which is what Booster Gold does. That's his thread line and the beginning of him in the DC universe. And I feel like they're going to take an invincible route with him. I think Booster Gold, with how he looks similar, his suit looks similar to Invincible. I think that tone is going to be used for this. And I think he's going to take real inspiration from Invincible to make this film work out and how everything worked out there. And I could really see that working out. Even the way those characters look are just so similar. I think we're going to get like that tone of that show in that movie, or that show is a Booster Gold show. So I'm excited for that because Booster Gold is one of my favorite DC characters. I'm excited to see how they execute it. And people have been asking for this character so long. And hopefully he gets to interact with Blue Beetle, which is happening before that. We're getting a Blue Beetle movie. So that'll be cool if they get to interact either in that show or in a movie where they star together. So Booster Gold will be another character that we get in a show on HBO Max. Moving on with the show that I'm most excited for, and that's Waller. That is Viola Davis reprising her role as Amanda Waller, which is weird because I don't know if this is going to be a brand new Waller, but it can't be because they said that Waller is going to be with the Peacemaker team. And so that they can't be because the Peacemaker team has interacted with Shazam. Has interacted with Justice League members. So it's really confusing how this is going to work. So that means that the past DCEU stuff is going to be transferring over into DCU. But the rumor is it's going to be called the Trial of Waller because at the end of Peacemaker, Viola Davis Amanda Waller is exposed. She's probably going to be on trial, and it's going to be this crazy story that's going to expand and affect the greater DCU. Bro, watch Young Justice. I watched Young Justice. You don't gotta tell me that. I haven't finished the latest season, but I watched Young Justice. Great show. I love the first 2 seasons of that show. I love it. It was like, oh my god, it was like great candy for me. I love that show. So you don't have to beg. I watched Young Justice. I just don't think it's gonna continue on. I think him connecting animation to the DCU and the fact that it hasn't done well with his newer seasons, I think that's just like Titans and Doom Patrol. I think that show's done. And hopefully Harley Quinn show continues on in that because I love that show and that show does well as well. But Waller, I think that is going to be the Trial of Waller is going to be really exciting. Have the rest of the team, the Peacemaker team, being in it, and I think that that's going to connect the street level stuff together really, really well. And finally is Creature Commandos, which is going to be the first animated show within the DCU. It's going to be an animated show about superhuman military team comprised of like Miss Frankenstein and other supernatural people fighting other supernatural entities that pop up. And he's saying that these characters and these actors are going to debut in live action. They're going to be in the video games. It's going to be played by the same actor and voice actor that is in the show. So that's really exciting. And this is going to be the true test on what he says is going to happen with the DCU having a connection between the movies, shows, video games and animation, because it's starting animation. He said these characters are going to transfer over to the games, the shows, and the movies, and going to be played by the same people. So that's going to be a huge commitment. That's the thing. And now that we're done with the slate, everybody that's still watching, if you're still watching on replay, thank you for still watching. If you're on here live, tell me how you feel about it connecting and how you feel about the slate so far. These first couple movies, are you excited about it? The last thing I got to say is I'm a little worried. I think that James Gunn dropped the ball here with not just rebooting everything. Um, and I think that he let his personal stuff get in the way with that, because a lot of his friends were hired in recent things like Peacemaker with John Cena. His wife is in that show. She ends up being Shazam. She was in Black Adam. She's probably going to be in the Amanda Waller show. Amanda Waller, Viola Davis, and those characters, he can't reboot completely because he wants to bring those characters over. And I think that's going to cause problems for a lot of people. If these movies and shows are just banger after banger after banger and after banger, then I think people are going to get over it, and eventually the toxicity of the DCU will go away. But if he slips up and messes up even slightly, it's just going to really, really, really mess things up. A $70 and 40+ hour game is a lot to just keep up with a movie universe. That is a great, fantastic point. And we don't know when this show is coming out, or when some of these shows are coming out, when these games are coming out. That it could be by the time next gen comes, and we don't even know how much games are going to be by next gen. So yeah, asking especially general audiences to buy a game so they can understand a character is a huge ask. It doesn't even need to be 40 hours. A superhero game could be 15 to 20, but that's still a lot of time to ask people to do that. So yeah, I agree with that. I really think he should leave video games out of this, he should just leave video games out of this. I think he should just leave that separate and have that as a separate thing that people can enjoy that loves video games. I like the connection being placed, but I do think some of these shows and movies could fall flat. Kai, let me know what shows and movies you think will fall. Which ones do you think will fall flat? Which ones did I talk about that you think are gonna you have a suspicion that will fall flat? But one mistake will definitely ruin this. Yeah. One big mistake will definitely ruin this. They don't have the opportunity to make mistakes like the MCU is having right now, because the MCU gave us, what was that, 2008 to 2018? So like 15 years in the making of just success, like not perfect. People have problems with like Thor Dark World and Iron Man 3 and Captain America First Avenger. But once Guardians comes out, it's just up with quality and how people love it. And it didn't really, like Captain Marvel, people have problems with, but that movie made $1 billion, and there's people who love that movie, including me. I like that movie a lot. Ant-Man and the Wasp wasn't a huge hit, but it did well overall, and people liked it. Now the MCU's starting to fumble, but it's getting grace because they did all the groundwork before people believe they could get on board. The DCEU started off so rocky that this DCU cannot start off rocky. Superman Legacy has to be the greatest Superman movie of all time. Literally, that's what it has to do. It can't be an okay Superman movie. It can't be a good Superman movie. A great Superman movie is even like put in a stretch. I feel like it has to be the best version for them to say, this is why we kicked Henry Cavill out the way we did. And then once they knock it out of the park a couple times, that's when they can, maybe a mistake might happen. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm a huge DC fan. I've always preferred DC over Marvel. I just think that they have the better characters. I think they have the better storylines and more exciting powers overall. And the Marvel characters are more muted when it comes to powers. And I love Marvel. It's not a thing of like DC's here and Marvel's here. It's pretty close. But I just like DC. I prefer DC's world more. And more of the heroes are in my top 5, top 10, while Spider-Man is my number 1 overall. But he's the outlier because a lot of heroes in the Marvel MCU in the Marvel are not like Spider-Man. They try to copycat, but they don't have a lot of them. But Anybody watching the stream, anybody that just joined the stream, any final thoughts about everything I talked about, from the importance of Dark Knight to how it affected the beginning of the DCU, the birth and fall and rise and tumble of the DCU, and all that craziness we just talked about, and that breaking news that we just saw with Shazam, and the new DCU slate. Any final thoughts about that before I hop off a stream? Let me know. Whew. I was excited to do this video. I wanted to get it out as soon as the slate was announced, but I also didn't want to do it and be unprepared. I wanted to have full details and really go over every detail in a proper manner for you guys, so we could have a proper conversation. So this was really fun. I didn't even get to go over everything that probably would happen, because I'd probably be on here for 3 hours, which I didn't want to do another 3 hour stream right now. But this is really, really great. I'm glad for the people that joined and talked and chatted with me, and anybody that watches this replay, because I know a lot of people can't catch it, and I see you guys watching my replay. Please comment so I know that you're doing it, and really engage with you. I want to have a conversation and talk with all of you guys, and share this with your friends and stuff like that. So your boy can get more subscribers. Trying to raise it up so I can move on and eventually do this full time. Clay, stick to topic. Oh man, that's crazy. Zachary Levi is a menace. Oh man, that is nuts. The fact that he was in a secret relationship, like, why was that a secret? I guess for the movie it's weird because they play brother and sister, so I kind of understand why they're like, let's not talk about us being in a relationship while we're playing brother and sister even though it's foster brother and sister, in a movie. But yeah, that's just weird and immature. I guess he really is his character, Shazam is pretty immature. But if you guys watching don't have any final words or anything, I think. Oh, wait. Slim. We need Batman Beyond and Static Shock. Batman Beyond animated project is coming in the lieu of Spider-Verse. So you'll get that. And now I don't know how they're gonna. I don't know if that's gonna be part of the DCU or Elseworld thing. They're probably gonna be an Elseworld thing. I don't think that's or it could be part of the DCU showing the future or something like that. We'll see. And Static Shock was in the works for an animated show, a new animated show, and a live action adaptation produced by Michael B. Jordan. But now with James Gunn in charge, I don't know where any of that is going to be lying, because they can't have an animated show and a live action movie, because he says he wants the characters to be the same across everything. So we definitely need. It was a secret, so he won't expect when the pics leak. Oh, okay, we definitely need more static. We need static. Was not happening at all this point. Yeah, like I don't know where that's going, because Milestone and new brand, they're doing stuff with the comics and it's working. They really were pushing to produce movies under the DC banner. But now that James Gunn is under control, I don't know. I don't know what his plans is with that. I don't know if he's going to still do that, if he's going to still give them a platform. I would love to see Black Lightning. I would love to see Vixen. I would love to see Firestorm. There's a lot of great DC Black heroes that they can tap into. I think that DC might have more great Black heroes than Marvel does. But I would love to see them debut and mix up that Justice League team and add some flavor in there. So that's a great point. I think I need a Black Lightning. I would love for Black Lightning to come back. I really like that DCCW show. I thought that was really good while it lasted. And I would love to see a live action Black Lightning, and then that kind of transfer over to a Static, because those characters, even though with similar powers, are very different. Hey, Movie Ninja! Thank you for joining the stream. You're always a great member on the stream and on my channel. Bronze Tiger, yeah, that would be great too. Like I'm saying, the DC universe has the best characters, and they have the best diversity in characters. They don't have to force diversity in the DC universe because they have it already. There's characters there that are great that they can just do, like Blue Beetle, just skipping the first two and go straight to the Spanish one. That's fine. They can still have the original Blue Beetles in there, just like Ant-Man, and do the same thing. The Atom, there's the third Atom or second Atom is Asian. Just do that. Go straight to them. Have an Asian representation right away. The role is just made for Michael J. White. It is. I don't know if he can lead a movie, maybe a show, and then he transfers over some movies just to get a feel of how he feels as a character. But yeah, I think Michael J. White will be great as Bronze Tiger. The character doesn't need to be a young character either. Michael J. White can do his stunts, and he's a good actor. He's a good actor. With the right writer and director, he can knock it out of the park. I've seen him do some really good dramatic acting. So yeah, um, there's a since we're talking about it, let me Google this bad boy. Just talk about it. You know, Vixen. I would love to see a character like Vixen played by like Logan Larice Browning. She could sing. She has the feel for the character. I would love that too. Um, I would love just Journey Smollett. If they're gonna bring back people, Journey Smollett come back and play Black Canary. Just you know, since they already done that and established that, let's do that. Let's see, Black DC characters. So Cyborg. Oh my God, how could I forget that? Cyborg has so much potential to be a lead character, to be a great lead character in the DC universe. I think in Zack Snyder's Justice League, they really show that. Recently in the comics, they've done a lot of great things with the character, with upgrading his powers, upgrading things that's going on with him. And he just did something in Nightwing that makes him really interesting with boom tubes. I think he has such potential to be an adult character. Start him off in Teen Titans, but then have him as a great character. Also, I miss Sideways. Oh, Sideways is he has so much potential. That's a new character in that's in the comics that can do a really good like a good job. They can make that. Well, I think Static should be the Spider-Man tentpole character of the DC universe. I think Sideways has that potential as well. Toya Turner could make a great Vixen. Okay, I'm not too sure who Toya Turner is, so that's this person I have to look up. But I love how I typed in black DC characters. They put Black Adam. He's not. Well, yeah, he's not black. Nubia, yes, they need to. They're supposed. Oh, I didn't talk about this. The Paradise show, the Wonder Woman island show, being a prequel to before she becomes Wonder Woman. They need to get Nubia in there. We need to get more Nubia. We need to get the new Wonder Woman who's from Brazil. Get her in there and introduce her as a young person as well. They get that diversity and get those characters in there. I think they will both be great additions. And so Wonder Woman won't be just by herself. I think having a team around her would be great. Steel. Oh my God, they've done Steel so well in Superman and Lois. I would love for them to take some of the inspiration from that show and create the character more in that lane. He's ripe for potential. Ripe for potential. I think he needs to come later. I think they need to have a bunch of Superman movies, introduce a lot of the Superman characters, and then do like a Death of Superman storyline where he takes up the mantle as Steel and tries to help replace Superman. I think that would be a proper way to introduce Steel. But yeah, that would be a great Steel movie. That would be a great arc in the DC universe if they do like a Superman Death of Superman like arc where a bunch of movies have to deal with the fact that Superman is dead. I think that would be great. So we said Bronze Tiger, Lightning would be great. Black Manta, hopefully. I think Black Manta is probably going to be recast because the actor that's playing Black Manta is joining the MCU as Wonder Man. So he's probably going to be recast. Tyrock is a great character. Aqualad, hopefully we get him. I think he's a great character as well. Black Racer, Black Spider, Manchester Black, whose ethnicity has swapped between black and white, but we can just make them black. That would be really cool if we get to see Superman versus the Elite. Oh man, I love that animated movie. That would be great. So yeah, there's a lot of great DC heroes that are black. Obviously, we're getting Jon Stewart in the show. I think that is gonna be. Oh, how could I forget Mr. Terrific? We have to get a Mr. Terrific show, movie, and to do the Terrifics. That is the fantastic for DC right there. Let's see. Sideways was a damn. There's DC Spider-Man with golden tiger claws and loved him. Yeah, yeah. Do we need more of him? Green Lantern John Stewart. Well, Green Lantern John Stewart is going to be in the Green. You weren't here when I first started going, but he already announced they're going to doing a Green Lantern show on HBO Max, and it's going to be starring Hal Jordan and John Stewart in a true detective procedural space cop show where they deal with the problems in the Earth sector and they discover something crazy that affects the greater DCU. So we're getting John Stewart. That's definitely happening. So you don't have to worry about that. Mr. Terrific is a fantastic character. They did him dirty in Arrow, and they need to be done. He's one of the, he's one of the greatest black characters we have, one of the smartest ones as well. Let's see. I just love Spider-Man. Yeah, I love Spider-Man too. He's my favorite hero. So, Steel movie. Yes, I would love Shaq to make have a cameo in it. You know what would be great? I don't know how good of an actor Shaq is, but him to be a villain. I thought that would be really hilarious if Shaq was a villain or like a starter villain for Steel to face off against. Just a wink to everybody. Late, but I'm here. My bad, bro. No problem, man. I'm glad you joined the stream. I was really about to shut it down, but now all you guys are in here, so we can talk for some more. We got excited by talking about the black characters that James Gunn can introduce, and I'm very very excited for it. They're black, Spanish, Asian, and women characters. He needs to introduce these characters and not wait so long like these Marvel has. Find a way to divvy it up, man. He was trash in Arrow. I don't want to say he's trash. I like the character in Arrow, but it was a different character. It had a different name and everything. So sorry about the burp online. But I liked him. He was cool. But he's nowhere near the Mr. Terrific. Bat. We talked about Static already. We talked about the importance of Static and how he needs to be there. We talked about him. And we not knowing if he's going to be in there. Batwing is a character that could be introduced if we're going to do the greater Bat universe. We could do Batwing, and he's a great black character. He's part of the universe, and he's not in Gotham. He's in Africa. That would be great. Bruh, he was trash. Come on. I didn't think he was trash. That's fine that you do, but I just didn't think he was trash. I like the character. He was fun in that show. I understand that he wasn't the way the character should have been, but I liked him. But Arrow was awesome overall. That's one of the best comic book shows overall. It has, out of the 8 seasons that it probably has 3 weak ones. That's it. So it has 6 great seasons. That's good for me. Like I said, Firestorm, Vixen, Black Lightning, Aqualad, Static, Simon Bass, another Green Lantern. I think he would be great. He's a Middle Eastern black character, so that would be double representation. And not do it for representation purpose, but it is important. And he also is a really fun character that's very different from other Green Lanterns because he uses a gun. It's weird. We talked about Bronze Tiger. Icon, yes, I would love to see Icon. He has a very interesting story. He's like a mixture of Superman and Martian the Manhunter. And I know a lot of people don't count Martian the Manhunter as a black character, but he does take black form a lot of times. And we just make that official. And Martian the Manhunter as well. He's one of my favorite DC characters. He should be done. He should be one of the 7 Justice League members. And I think that he should. I have this dream of him being directed by Jordan Peele. I think a Jordan Peele written and directed film with Martian the Manhunter would be phenomenal. The themes that Jordan Peele could execute with Martian the Manhunter could be fantastic, and I think it's just right down his alley. So I think that would be great, and I think he would work under somebody like this, like James Gunn. But like from that milestone, MM uses blackface, cancel him. Stop it. That's funny. Under milestone, Icon, Hardware, Rocket. Those are characters that I would love to transfer over into the proper DCU and get brought to live action and have very unique stories. So hopefully he's gonna looks at those things and figure out the way to incorporate those characters all over. because it's those are great characters and they're important. I hope that I would love Hawkman from the Black Adam movie to move over, and Hawkgirl to either be Hispanic and Black or be like an Afro Latina. To do that, I always imagine that as well. If they do Lobo, I've always had this idea. I know a lot of people want Jason Momoa as Lobo. He's born to play the role and yada yada yada. But I've always imagined a Cholo Lobo, like a Lobo that's an alien but it's Mexican in feel. And I think that would be really fun and great, and play off stereotypes, but make it cool and subvert them. So I would think that would be a great idea and very fun. Um, yeah, there's so many characters that go down the well that DC has that he could do. Not only just the regular basis characters that we have, but the diversity of characters too. So I'm excited. I'm cautiously excited about James Gunn's universe. I'm kind of scared that he's going to be doing favors for his friends because he's like, I'm going to work with Margot Robbie. It means she's still going to be Harley Quinn, or maybe she might be recasted. Who knows? Into a different character. Or he's bringing his Peacemaker boys over, but not bringing back any of the other regular DC people, which makes me scared. I'm scared that he's bringing over all the Guardians people. Probably that's just gonna be weird. I want fresh actors in these roles. Not everybody. Maybe Dave Bautista, but not Chris Pine. He's already Star-Lord and all that. There's always Saldana's Gamora. Maybe new Nebula's actress, because you can't even see her under that, and she acts so different from how she usually acts. So she could come over she could be Barbara Gordon. I could see her being a great Batgirl or Batwoman. So the way they hated on black characters in Titan makes me think they're not ready. But that has nothing to do with James Gunn. So I'm gonna leave that. They did. It was a lot of racism when they came to that, and unnecessary because they're like, it's going woke. Which, if you use woke in a sentence like that to me, I can't bother with you. But what's her name? Starfire is an orange alien. There's no reason why she can't be black. And she's been drawn with black features for many years. So there's a purpose there. And that was before the girl got casted. So, I don't see no problem. And I would love for Starfire to be a black character just moving forward. Or a black feature character has kind of like an orange skin tone. I'm fine with that. I need Brightburn 2 and Smallville continuation. That's it. Yeah, well, I think you're going to be severely disappointed. Brightburn was not received really well. I can't talk about the quality of it because I haven't seen it yet. And the most you're gonna get out of a Smallville continuation is what's it called? The most you're gonna get out of a Smallville continuation is what's the two guys' names? Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum are doing like a Smallville podcast continuation thing. That's the most you're gonna get out of it. They're not bringing back Smallville because everything has to connect, so it's just not happening. Chris Pratt, yeah. Hey, Perp Minded, thank you for joining the stream. I appreciate you, man. Everybody check out his channel. He's great. He does really fun streams and reviews as well. And also Kal-El Daily as well. We have a collab coming out very soon. And Perp, hopefully we can collab soon. I think me and you would have some good debates. And follow Movie Ninja too. I want to shout out to all you guys as well. Also, Kai, since you joined the stream and got a chance to, he does really good graphics. If you need graphics for your channel, and you're not that great at it, Kai's your guy. If you need his information or anything or interest in that, just message me. We could connect you, and you could do some good stuff. So yeah, follow Movie Ninja, Perp Minded, Kal-El Daily on YouTube. Subscribe to their channels because they're really great. Oh, another guy that you guys definitely should subscribe to, Norin. He's really great too. I enjoy his. He does really great horror reviews and stuff that I don't even know about. So he be putting me on the stuff. So that would make some different. I think you guys should check him out. What's up, Norin? Thank you for joining the stream. Where I've gone through the importance of the Dark Knight, the ups and downs of the DCEU, how it's led to the beginning of the DCU. I ran through the slate of the DCU, and now we're talking about the things that we want to see going into the DCU. We're talking about black characters that you want to see, other things that we want to see. So if you have any opinions on any of that stuff that I just listed, drop them down below. Same to you, Pert Minded, as well. Facts. John Jones was black, so why not Starfire? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think that this is not a really hot take. I'm gonna be serious with you. The people who have a problem with Starfire being black are people who find Starfire sexy and they imagine her as a white woman, and they're racist. That's all it is. Usually, that's what it is. Things like the same people who were mad that Lola Bunny wasn't so exposed in the new Space Jam, freaking weirdos, and stuff like that. That's all where it comes down to. They won't admit it, but that's where it comes down to. It's animations Michael Rosen has been working on. Yeah, I think that's going to get nixed. I think that's going to either get nixed or they're going to sell it to another company because they just sold that Batman show that's coming out, the animated show, to Amazon. So it could be an Elseworld thing, but I just don't see it happening. There's going to be too many Superman things going on at the same time with Superman Lois doing so well and probably getting more seasons. Then there's a Superman animated show coming out as well. But I don't even know if that's still happening. He might cancel that. So we'll see. They've been talking about it for like 2 years. Michael and James are gonna close. They are, and he is helping his friends. So we'll see what happens. Imagine Michael Rosenbaum gets to play Lex Luthor again. That'll be amazing. I'm happy they're going to work on connecting the animation films and live action films for DCU. So, Nora, we were talking about that, but how do you feel about them connecting the video games as well? That's the big point, that you might have to play the video games to understand everything that's going on. Get off the stream and watch Brightburn now. Dude, come on. I can't. All these people just joined. I will put it on my poll, Kal-El. And if I put it on my poll, you better. I think I'm going to do a James Gunn poll. And I haven't seen a lot of his movies. I'll put up his movies that he's either been involved in and directed. And I'll put Brightburn up there. And if it wins, I'll check it out. Anybody that's joining recently, let me know your thoughts on the DC slate. We just went through a whole bunch of stuff on the DC slate, the inspirations for what he's doing and what to read and expect from his movies. We talked about the state of the DCU and the ups and downs and what happened to Dark Knight. So drop all your opinions in the the chat. And if you're watching after and you made it this far, drop it in the comments below. We'll talk. I might have to start my streams later because all you guys are just jumping in so late. And me. Oh, Slim Orion. What? Why am I blanking on your channel? Hold up. Is your channel named Slim Orion? Am I blanking right now? Slim Orion. Slim Orion, if you have a channel and I know you, let me know. For some reason, I'm blanking. Kal-El, that pause and their racist was hilarious. Hey man, this is my chance to do some comedy bits, you know. The furries were livid. That is a fact. The furries were they were tight. I would definitely have to watch some gaming YouTube channels to get those storylines. I only own a 3DS and Game Boy Color. Dang. You are not into gaming. Jeez. But that's actually fair. That's something people could do. You just watch the videos. People always do those things. So yeah. What's up? Hey, Anthony Harmore. Moore. Thank you for joining the stream. That's another guy that you can definitely watch. He does horror stuff as well. You and Norin should connect and do a collab. I think that'll be a great conversation for you guys to do a collab on a movie or talk about horror. But yeah, Anthony does really great movie reviews on horror, physical media, which I love, and he does unboxings of like horror statues. Really cool guy. Somebody I want to collab with in the future. Check him out as well. Kal-El, connecting the games is too much. I didn't like the shows in Marvel being connected to the point you gotta watch to understand. I do like that. That's not my problem. Like you casual fans, Kal-El, I want things to be connected. I want shows. I want everything. So yeah, no, I don't agree. If you're not coming into the connected universe, get on out. I mean, I messaged you. Jules PDX. Yeah, I just got here. Hey, Never seen you before, comment on the stream before, unless I'm mistaken, maybe you did in the past one. But thank you for coming on the stream. Let me know what you think about The Dark Knight, the DCU in total, and what's going on, all the drama with Shazam and before that. And what do you think about that DCU slate? We went through all that stuff. Let me know in the chat what you think and what you're excited for in the future of the DCU, what you want to happen in terms of tone and everything. Moving into, don't stay up till 1 a.m. on my account. I finished dinner late. Bro, it's fine. I'll probably stay on for another 30 minutes or an hour because this is the most people I've had on this whole time. So I want to definitely talk to you guys. Slimmerine, I'm on Twitch. I've been dating trans YouTube. Oh, yes. I have you. I follow you on Twitch. I don't know why I was blanking. Yes, follow Slimmerine on Twitch if you're into gaming. I was blanking just now. Kala, Anthony, what's up? Hey, the community getting together. I love it. Facts, Norin. Norin puts out some dope ass videos and the Puppet Master franchise. Yes, that's dedication. He watched like 17 million Puppet Master movies in like 4 days to knock out those reviews. That was amazing. I couldn't believe it. So is the rumor true about The Rock not allowing them to use him in Shazam 2 because he was pissed about not getting his Superman versus movie? So I don't know about the Superman versus movie, but Zachary Levi just posted or shared an article about how Dwayne Johnson said no to cameo in the first Shazam. He blocked the cameo Shazam was supposed to have in Black Adam, where he was supposed to be recruited by the Justice League Society. And then he also blocked the cameo for the JSA to be recruiting him in the Shazam Fury of the Gods movie. So they had to use the Peacemaker people. So it looks like it's true because Zachary Levi posted it and said the truth will set you free. So this is either just like trying to slam Dwayne Johnson right now. I'm not sure what's going on. It's a lot of drama. And then there's also more drama with now the person who plays Mary Marvel bringing up the fact that Zachary Levi and her were in a relationship and he leaked her photos on 4chan. It's insane. It's insane. I think Zachary Levi's done. I think this version of Shazam is done, which is sad because I really, really enjoyed it. It's really insane. Hopefully W actually promotes Blue Beetle because I think it will be pretty dope film. Minded, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think they're going to promote this movie because they barely promoted Shazam. So I think all their promotion budget is going to go into The Flash because they think that movie can make $1 billion. And I think it's going to Aquaman because that movie made $1 billion with the first one. They're probably going to make $1 billion with the second one. With Blue Beetle not being a popular character to the mainstream and also not having, like, Zolo's a popular actor. But if you don't watch Cobra Kai, which I love, you're not going to know who he is because he's not in a bunch of other stuff for some reason. So I think they're going to promote it a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be promoted that hard. Hopefully the word of mouth helps it. Thank you for the kind words, Zach. I appreciate it, man. No problem. Anytime you, like I said before, on all my streams, I'm here to connect the community together and support you guys. You guys make great content, and I want people to watch you. I love Puppet Master. Oh, so wait, do you know Norin? If you don't know Norin, definitely go check out his channel. That's his channel name right there. Go subscribe to the channel, check out his reviews. He reviewed all of them. And I think he has all the physical copies as well. So, Minded, that's your guy. Meanwhile, you can't watch one Lord of the Rings in a month. Hey. Okay, Kal-El, you've been coming at me, right? I finished the 4-hour cut of the first movie in one day. Okay, it didn't take me a month. And I did a whole full review of it, and I loved it. I thought it was a great movie. So don't do that. Thanks, Zach and Anthony, for the kind words. Much appreciated. I'm intrigued on the Blue Beetle film. They casted the lead kid actor from Cobra Kai. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about before. Everyone was fan casting this kid as Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes, before they even announced Blue Beetle. And then when it was announced that the Blue Beetle movie was working on, everyone was talking about Zolo. So this is the first time I've seen them cast an actor that everyone thought should be the character. And I hope it works out. So I think that he's going to do a great job. I think he just fits the character really well. I just took my nephew to Shazam 2. He's been looking forward to it for a long time. He loved it. It's unfortunate for it getting so much hate. Yeah, I don't know if you saw my review, Minded. I thought it was a great film. I thought it was a great film. I thought the first one was great. I think this one is great. And I am really confused why is getting so well, I'm not confused. Part of the reason why it's getting so much hate is because I think that the critics are not only superhero fatigue, comic book storyline fatigued. So if you're not doing something creative or out of this world, they're gonna pan you. If you're doing something that's just normal, but also I think they have a vendetta against superhero movies. That's why they went so hard on Ant-Man. That's why they're going so hard on other films, because comic book films have been sucking up the air of so much of other types of films that they love, like the mid-tier movies, the indie movies, and those movies aren't being watched because everybody's rewatching superhero films. So I think that's part of it why things are going on with Shazam, because if you look at the audience score, if you look at the cinema score, if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes, if you look at everything, people love this film. So it doesn't make any sense. Two Towers is the best Lord of the Rings film by far. Love that film. All three are very solid, though. I am eventually going to watch all three of them and do reviews. I'm thinking of doing this thing on my channel. Everybody knows I do Throwback Thursdays. Everybody votes on the choices that I make, and I review those films or movies I've never seen before. Ready or Not won this week, and I watched it, and I'm going to be filming my review tomorrow. Yeah, it should be tomorrow because I'm seeing John Wick on Thursday. So I'm going to be doing the review tomorrow, and hopefully get to review Superman and Lois and Mandalorian. It's just so much. And what I'm going to do, stuff like that with franchises like that, I think I might do like a Flashback Fridays where I review the rest of the films on Fridays and put them out on Fridays. So I think I'm going to review the rest of the other Lord of the Rings and drop those review on Fridays. So look out for that. Perp Minded sub. Thank you, Perp Minded, for subbing. I didn't know you weren't subbed already. I'm subbed to you. I watch your stuff. You make me laugh. Your opinions are usually different from mine, but you explain them in a way that I can respect. So that's why I really want to work with you, because I think that'll be a great show. But yeah, definitely sub to Perp Minded. He's great. Have you seen Young Justice? As an anime series, really solid show. I love Young Justice. I love Young Justice. And I'm so sad that it's probably done. I'm very, very sad that is done. But yeah, the first two seasons is a classic. The third season, that fourth season, I didn't finish it because the way it started was like just really off-putting. But overall, I think the show is fantastic. I love the way they treat the DC universe. I think James Gunn said that the DC universe is going to be inspired by the anime series, the animated series from before, like Superman anime series, Batman anime series, and the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. I hope that's true because those are great. That is the first cinematic universe, and I think that needs to be used. And Young Justice too. Give this man applause for finishing one long movie in a day. Thank you. Give me claps. Because listen here, man. Watching a 4-hour film of something that I've never read before is a feat. Especially when I have to do all this other stuff for this channel, all right? Kal-El. Huh. You have Kal-El in your name, and you're not really nice or inspiring as a Superman fan. We need to dead Rotten Tomatoes. So many people make their decision based off their scores. Yeah. Yeah, but it's hard because then, like, where do people go? You know, people go to YouTubers, and then that's another thing with YouTubers. What I'm seeing is that instead of like telling their true opinion on stuff, sometimes I feel are jumping on the bandwagon the wave. Like somebody hates something, they're like, okay, let me highlight what I hate about this movie because that's what's gonna get me viewers. Or if everybody loves something, they might not even really love it that much. They might highlight what they love about it just to jump on the wave. So superhero and horror are keeping the movie industry, so they need to chill if that's true. That's been true for a long time, but horror movies is being snubbed by the Academy because there's no reason why Soshi Bacon and Mia Goth didn't get some recognition for the performances in their horror films that they had, and other actors as well. There's horror movies with other actors that I think that people should have gotten recognition. The Mia girl from The Watcher that came out last year should have got some recognition for her performance and that movie in general. Horror is always getting snubbed in that category, but superhero films, other getting snubbed in that category, is being hate on by the industry, which is what helps the industry. Without superhero films, So many movie theaters would have closed. Hollywood would have been done during the pandemic. Revenge 2018 over Ready or Not. It lost, bro. So maybe eventually I'll watch it, but we'll see how I feel about Ready or Not on Thursday. Dude got more flashback than Men in Black. You damn right I do. I'm a budding cinephile. So when if you watched my stream about the movies that made us, I talked about in that stream about how I didn't get to watch a lot of classic movies growing up. So this is my time. I've been subbed. I was talking about No Ring. Oh, big old dummy. You've commented on my videos. Of course you subbed. I think it's channel so far. I'm going to check out the content later tonight. Nice. Young Justice should continue. I agree, Kai. I agree. But I just have a sneaking suspicion that all those shows that started on that DC Universe app are going to be gone. Because Young Justice. Titans is done. This last season that's out is the last one. Doom Patrol, last season that's coming out, is done. So I feel like Young Justice is done. With the ratings and the quality of the critic reviews and regular people not talking about it anymore, I don't think James Gunn is going to continue it. He's only continuing things like the Harley Quinn show, which is getting rave reviews and audiences like and watch. Superman and Lois, which is same thing, and Teen Titans Go. Those 3 shows are safe for now. Anthony, what you about that DC life? Okay, I see you. Anthony Tybo. Yeah, I love the first 2 seasons of Young Justice. Yeah, man. So good. So good. I am nice. Just the kryptonite can make me a little saucy. Okay. Is it that pink kryptonite that make you saucy? I'm about to get myself in trouble on YouTube. Cal, I know a little bit. Definitely deserve claps. Took me 3 days to watch the Snyder cut. That's because you're a hater, Clay. Horror never dies. Nope. Horror will always support the industry, man. Last year was a huge year for horror. Oh my God. Good stream. I appreciate the honesty. People don't really put out the popular stuff they haven't seen. Thank you. Yeah, man. I try to just share the stuff that I like. Like today, I dropped reviews for Poker Face, which is doing well, but I don't hear a lot of people talking about. But it's a great show. I think one of the best shows of the year. And I did Swarm, which is another show that I see people talk about, but not really talk about at the same time. And I saw that they were being searched, but not a lot of people doing reviews. So hopefully you guys can check out those reviews as well. I think my review game is on fire right now. So definitely check that out. Doom Patrol was great. Thank you. Oh, I'm about to say thank you. Like I'm Doom Patrol. No, yeah, Doom Patrol was really, really good. That was the start of Brendan Fraser's comeback. So I grew up watching Smallville and collecting comic books. I love Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. I also own most of DC and Marvel animated films. Just like me, I think obviously the Batman animated series is a classic. I think the Superman animated series is as good, but doesn't get talked about. It's so good when it comes to if you're a Superman fan. Justice League Unlimited, Static Shock, Batman Beyond, all classics. I think the Batman is really great. That animated show that came out a couple years after that in the 2010s. But yeah, I love Smallville. That's probably one of my favorite comic book shows of all time. And I love the DC animated films, and I think some of the Marvel animated stuff was good, like the Earth Mightiest Heroes movie. I think it was called, based on the Ultimate Avengers, based on the Ultimate Universe. That was really good. The Green Lantern show and the Batman Gotham PD show still a thing. Oh, so yes, earlier when I was talking about the DC slate, he announced that the Green Lantern show will be coming out. It's going to be starring Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart in a true detective procedural space cop show where they patrol the Earth sector, solving crimes and defeating invading aliens. And the crux of it is going to find a secret that is going to affect the greater DC universe, and trying to figure out how to handle it. That's what that show is going to be about. And he also said other Green Lanterns will come in and out of the show and be a part of it as well. But the main 2 Green Lanterns will be Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart in a buddy cop thing. Did you just sneak diss me with Pink? Bro, don't turn me into General Zod. You're a real Superman fan. You caught that. I'm glad you caught that. Fine, no claps for you. I'll clap for myself. I love Static Shock and Batman Beyond. So good, so good. They need to put those out on physical media. They gotta stop playing. They finally did it for the Superman animated series, and I haven't gotten it yet. But they need. I'm waiting for a nice box set. They haven't done that. They gave Batman the animated series this really nice box set, but didn't do it for Superman. Tired of this Superman lack of care. He's the greatest DC hero of all time. Kal-El. Haven't seen Doom Patrol season 3 or 4 yet. 2 was a huge letdown. I've heard that 2 was the worst out of the 4. Titan season 2 felt rushed, but I do really like both shows. Yeah, I started Titans and I just dropped it. I couldn't. The tone for me just didn't work. I want a Green Lantern show on HBO Max. Give it to me now. Anthony! I've said this like 5 times during the stream. They are doing a Green Lantern show on HBO Max. They are, starring Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. I said it. It's a true detective style show. We're getting it. Oh, man. You mean Blu-ray? Because the DVDs are out on static. Okay, Blu-rays. Sorry. I don't want a DVD quality. I want a Blu-ray HD version. Oh, and also, everybody remember that spinoff off of Static? It was like Zeta or something like that of the robot. I really like that show too. I want that show on Blu-ray. Give me that too. Or put it part of Static. Put the episodes a part of Static as like a bonus. That was my shit too. I'm so glad you guys are DC fans. That's great because it's just so much hate for DC online, and it's hard, especially for me who has been a fan of the DCEU. Yes, the Zeta Project. Thank you, Jules. I didn't even know you were still watching. Thank you. Yes, man, that was my shit. Slim said, "Yeah, they had the crazy crossover episodes." Yep, Zeta. Yep. We were also supposed to get a show based on that African hero they'd introduced in Static, but that fell through. But yeah, man, like I really love Man of Steel. I love Batman vs Superman, which is both those opinions have gotten me a lot of heat over the years. I thought Suicide Squad was okay. I love Wonder Woman. I love what's after that? The Justice League movie was a disaster. What else? What came out? I actually love Birds of Prey. I love Shazam. I really love Aquaman. So I love most of the DCEU. It was just a mess behind the scenes, and it just messed it up. They had something great there that could have been the antithesis to what the Marvel was doing with its funny, and something that was a little bit more grown and dark. And had little jokes in your hair and lighten up here and there, and have like characters like Shazam that were a little lighter, but they just didn't. They started off wrong by just trying to rush it. So sucks that we're getting a reboot already. They had a fantastic cast for the DCEU. Like they didn't really miss with casting that much. So I'm excited to see what Zack Snyder does. Hard to find DC and Marvel fans, not fanboys. Yep. And those fanboys really don't be knowing much about Marvel and DC. That's what kills me. Is they just be saying stuff and they don't know nothing. They be making up headcanon that never happened. Or they're fixated on one version of the character and don't know that the character has been used in different versions and stuff like that. I think Terry was trying to destroy him. Yeah. Oh, so it wasn't a spin-off of Static. It was a spin-off of Batman Beyond. You're 100% correct. Yes. And then he ended up protecting him, and then he got his spin-off. Zeta was great. Yes, thank you. That's why you're my guy, Clay, even though you be trying to diss me. I'll go back to Hayden. I'll go back to Hayden tomorrow. That's funny. How do you feel about Blade and Punisher coming back? They could both be terrible without R rating. Punisher is gonna be. I have to see how Punisher is portrayed in Daredevil Born Again. Once we see that, then I could tell how he's gonna get done. But the fact that Daredevil is gonna be R rated, Deadpool is going to be R-rated gives me hope that by the time we get a Punisher solo project, that it will be R-rated. We'll see how Deadpool is received by the general audience, And if that is fine, then we can get Blade R rated and we can get Punisher R rated. Random question. Have you seen the Batman Long Halloween Part 1 and 2? No, I have not seen the Long Halloween Part 1 and 2. I heard bad things about it. Should I check it out? Because I love the DC animated movies, but I fell off after they introduced Damian, which is weird because Damian's my favorite Batman. My favorite Robin, but I fell off after that for some reason. I don't know why. I think it was just too many Batman movies. It was just no variety. It was just like Batman, 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 and no other characters. I heard you, man. But I feel like they announced that Green Lantern show forever ago, and we still haven't gotten it. Yeah, so this is a reworked version of that show that they announced a long time ago. So James Gunn is taking that because I really think James Gunn wanted to make a Green Lantern movie, but they put so much money into that show, he's probably forced to be making it, and he's gonna do what he wanted to do for the movie in the show. So I'm unless James Gunn is a disaster, I'm pretty sure we're getting that show. Facts, bandwagon. Yeah, it's just bandwagon. It's just bandwagoning. They don't know nothing. Hey, Anthony, thank you. I'm a huge BVS fan. I give it a 10 out of 10. Bring it, haters. Yes. I love BVS. I love what they did there. Do I love all the parts? No. The Martha thing could have been executed better. The explanation of Batman killing people could have been executed better. Like as a fan, I had the context and I understood why it was going that way. But within the movie, Zack Snyder and the writer should have explained that why he was doing it, what was going on. Just one or two scenes, maybe in a flashback. But other than that, I thought the movie was written phenomenally. Watch it anyway. What were you saying to watch anyway, Slim? It's part of the new DC animated style. Yeah, I noticed that. And it has the guy from Supernatural voicing Batman, which is cool. Jensen Ackles, who I think would be a great Bruce Wayne or Jason Todd. Well, no, he can't be Jason Todd. He's too old, but he'll be a great Bruce Wayne. Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if he never seen Batman 89. What? Oh, don't disrespect me like that. When it comes to live action comic movies, I've seen 99% of them. I love Batman 89. That's my second favorite Batman movie. Rude, Kal-El. Movie. It's one of the best adaptations from graphic novel to movie. I think you love it. Oh, wow. Okay. Give me an idea. Movie Ninja, because you are involved in my polls. I thank you for voting on polls and stuff like that and commenting. I'm going to do a poll on the DC. Actually, let me write that down before I forget. The DC animated films. And where's my notes? The DC animated films, and put that on there. See if it wins. Hopefully. But I'll watch it anyway, even if it doesn't. DC animated poll. Animated poll. And James Gunn movie poll. James Gunn movie poll. I'm going to add those to the long collection of stuff that I got to do. But I'm not, it's great that I have this long list because I plan on doing this for a long time. So it's not like I want to run out. I want Snipes back as Blade. You're not going to get an actor that Snipes. He's a badass. I think Mahershala Ali is a better actor than Wesley Snipes. Can he be a badass? Now that's a different. I haven't seen Mahershala Ali in an action movie, but he's a better dramatic actor than Wesley Snipes. And Wesley Snipes is also hard to work with, so I don't see them bringing him back because of that. He's just too many bad stories about him on set. But Wesley, I think Wesley Snipes should be involved somehow, whether it's Blade 1, this new Blade that's coming out, or a sequel. They should have him as like a side character or a villain or something just to pay respects. Because without Blade, we wouldn't have anything we have right now. Snipes actually knows martial arts. That's true. But people don't need to know martial arts for these movies to work. Martha thing really not as big as people made it, but classic flicks started cut though. Classic. Kal-El, give you a clap. It's really not that big that it's not as big as people made it out to be, but I think it's a classic, and Snyder Cut is a classic, one of the best comic book movies. Perfect. Gene Winchester should be a Red Hood. He should, as just the fact that dude, he's gonna look like the same age as Batman. So it's not gonna work. He has to look younger. Kal-El, absolutely, yeah, man. Rude. I remember Zach saying last episode, never assumed I'd seen anything, so I just listened to you, bro. That's true. That's true. That's rude on my part. You're right. uh, wasn't he a badass in Luke Cage? Clay, you're my guy. Yes, he did the dramatic parts really well, but he didn't fight. And what Anthony is talking about is the fighting, the physicality, that part. We don't know he's going to be a great fighter as Blade, especially at his older age. But Cottonmouth was fantastic. That's one of the best MCU villains we had, and they killed him off way too early. I think Snipes will be back in No Way Home type thing. This is the multiverse saga. You're right. He might show up in Secret Wars. You're right. That would be really, really cool for both Blades to meet each other. Where did you hear that about Snipes? You can Google it. You can hear that about anything. Like that second and third movie, he went off the rails in terms of what he won't do, what he will do, and messing up in a lot of scenes. Yeah, just Google it. And there's other movies where they talked about him being a problem on movies. Unfortunately, he probably is a better person now that he's had time away. He had to serve time for the tax stuff, but yeah, there's just it's highly regarded. Other actors have talked about it. Snipes being an issue, unfortunately. What if Snipes comes back as the Whistler character? That would be cool. That's what a lot of people have been pitching for him to be Whistler, and I think that would be so dope. That would be so dope. I just want to see Snipes back in some major things. He had like a Netflix movie with Kevin Hart that I heard was good that I didn't get to see, but he's not in a lot of stuff. Got to get Anthony and Zach together. Yeah, man. One more collabs. I want to collab with you guys more on streams, especially. You know, I love horror. I'm not as well versed as an Anthony, but you know, if it's something I know or I need to watch, I'll do it. Cottonmouth was fire. Yep, he was. Just heard him having a bad time on Blade Trinity. Only that. Imran, you made it. Thank you for joining the stream. I appreciate you, man. Everybody, you know, this guy's a big DC fan. He's a great YouTuber as well. Subscribe to his channel. He does great reactions. He does great film rewrites. He rewrote Ant-Man, which was really, really fun. I think he did a great job of making that movie better. You know, Marvel needs to hire this man. And he just does great reactions and reviews as well. So that's another guy that you guys can sub to. And he also did a collab with me in a stream where we talked about the Oscar predictions before the Oscars happened. So that was fun too. Imran, we talked about the importance of the Dark Knight. I went over what the bumpy road of the DCEU and all the drama and stuff that's happened that led to the DCU. I went through all of the slate of the DCU that's announced, the comics that are inspiring it, and the tone and things that you can expect. And we've talked about what characters we want to see, the diversity of characters of Black, Asian, Spanish, and all that stuff. And now we're just talking about our favorite DC stuff and what we want to see later in a mixture of things. We're just hanging out, you know? So if you have any opinions on any of those things that I just listed, I don't know. Tell me if I talk too fast. Let me know. We could talk about it. Snipe should be a villain, Blade versus Old Blade, multiverse style. That would be really cool. That would be really cool. Because they haven't really used the multiverse stuff the way that it should be. Honestly, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. This multiverse thing was too soon. And I think that they should have just did a secret invasion arc. That's what they should have did. And had a scroll in every show, every movie, and just building up till we got to a secret Avengers, a secret invasion movie. That's what they should have did. It would have been more grounded. It would have been more understandable because we got introduced to these characters in Captain Marvel, and it would have had a better connection to everything. But this whole like scroll pushing the scrolls as a small part of this while also doing the multiverse, I think was a big mistake. They should have did the multiverse after a next phase after this the new event. This should have been a mixture of the leftover Avengers from the first couple of phases with the new Avengers coming together, dealing with the Skrulls, and then with the old Avengers were either retiring or dying off in the Secret Invasion, and then the multiverses dealt with the new Avengers coming in and whoever's left over. That would have been what would have been dope. Definitely gonna rewatch what I missed. Oh, I appreciate you. I know my streams are long. Snipes was in Domlight and Coming to America. Yep, that's true. That's way before Blade. Agreed about the Secret Invasion thing before the multiverse. I was just thinking about how that should have been Phase 4, bro. Even Pat, I think Phase 4, first of all, should have been so short. Well, or at least it should have been part of Phase 4, 5, and 6, or whatever. It should have just been the whole thing and lead to a big Avengers Secret Invasion movie. That's what they should have did. I don't understand why they did it this way. Give us one story you want adapted to screen from DC and one actor you want in a superhero movie. Ooh, that is a good story. That's good. I already have it. I think I've said this online before. I would love for Superman American Alien to be adapted into live action, and I would love Penn Badgley from You to be Clark Kent Superman. I think that he would do a banging job as that character because it sounds weird, but his performance in You, if you take all the weird stuff out with the stalking and all the violent parts of him, there's remnants of a good Clark Kent there. You just got to strip away all the negative stuff and add the wholesomeness and stuff like that. He can really play that really well. When he's being a good guy in that show, it reminds me of Clark Kent. So I think Penn Badgley would be great in a Superman American Alien. I think Superman American Alien would be fantastic. And sorry for my mix up of words right now. I don't, blah, 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 but you know what I mean. I feel like because they expected certain things with Skrulls, so they're doing the latter. Yeah, but the general audience don't know about what Skrulls is about, and also I think the multiverse was just too much for the general audience right now, right after Endgame. Dude, Coming to America Part 2 and Dolomite came out like 2 years ago. Oh, Coming to America. I don't know why I didn't realize that's a 2. And I didn't watch the second Coming to America. And Dolomite My Name, I didn't watch either. I thought you were talking about the original one. Wait, you want a serial killer to play Clark? Yeah. Penn Badgley's not only a serial killer. But yeah, I think Penn Badgley will do a great job. And he might be casted as Reed Richards. I hope he does. I think he would do a fantastic job as Reed. If it's not Adam Driver, but yeah, I just think somebody needs to snatch him up. He's a great actor. Because I think, has one more season, and that show's done. And I would love for him to be in a superhero role. But yeah, I love that. I love that comic book. I have all the runs of it. Superman American Alien would be great. I would love them to properly adapt Paper Girls, because that Paper Girls show ended up getting canceled, and I thought it was good, but it wasn't great. I think that would be great. There's a lot of Image comics that I like that would be great movies because they're not like multiple ongoing for 10 years. Like Tokyo Ghost would be a great movie. Black Magic would be a great show or movie. Who do you think be a good Batman Beyond? I never could fan cast it. It's hard because Terry is half white, half Asian. I think. Is he half Asian? No, I think he's just drawn that way. I think, was his mom Asian? I don't know. For some reason, Terry McGinnis always felt like an Asian character. And the actors I'm thinking about are older than what the character feels like. A lot of people say Dylan O'Brien, which I think would be a great casting if you're not going to go with the Asian thing. And first of all, I got to say, for Damian Wayne, they have to cast someone of Middle Eastern descent, or at least half Middle Eastern descent. That's a big part of his character in the book, and I think that would be a travesty if they don't do that. Yeah, so yeah, I think his mom is Asian. Yeah, like you say, Lauren, he's white, but no, he is half Asian. They purposely made him look mixed in that show. So it's kind of hard because I don't know what He has three different bloods in him. He has the blood of his mom, his father, and Bruce Wayne. It's not just Bruce Wayne. He's like white, and Asian. Young Asian actors. Let me see. I think it would be a great way to give somebody an opportunity. It's just hard because I don't know any young. Wait, Slim. um, yeah, I don't know any of these people that I just googled, so it's hard. Yeah, it's funny. I just typed in Terry McGinnis, and then the first thing came up Asian. Yeah, he is half Asian. He is half Asian. So that is established. The series writer and creator has said that he's half Asian. Ooh, see, Movie Ninja out here doing the research. Let's see, Chai Hansen. He's Australian. Ooh, I like his look. Okay, he's 34, but he looks younger than that, so it could work. When he's shaved, he looks a lot younger. What has he been in? He was in 100, Shadow Hunt. So he's been in some low key shows. Okay. His father name is Super Rut. Wow, that's wild. So yeah, he looks mixed, honestly, and that makes sense because he's Australian, so it's probably his father's probably white. So that makes sense. That's a good casting right there. Kal-El, there you go. Look up Chai Hansen to play Terry. If Jason Scott Lee was young, that would be good. Yeah, I just googled it. My bad, y'all. No problem. I can understand that. It wasn't like in the show they made it a big deal. It was just there that he was Asian. They listening. Pause. Wait, what are you pausing for? Oh man. If you guys haven't already, like the video. If you haven't already. And drop some comments on there just to help me out after. Comments really help videos. But also follow me on Twitter and Facebook and things like that so we can interact more. I don't have a Discord or anything, but my Twitter is Zach Attacks RVS. And my Facebook, I think, is the same, or Zach Attacks Reviews. I love to interact with you guys and anything that comes up. Have you ever read the Stormwatch comics from the New 52 run that they did a while back? Yes, I read some of it. I didn't read all of it. I know that led to the Authority, and I was just talking about that when I brought up the Authority movie that they're doing. I read some of it. I was deep into the New 52 when it started. I didn't get the hate, but yeah, I read some of the Stormwatch stuff. I didn't finish it. I like his look, and he looked good shaved. Yet felt you had Paul. Oh, listen here, Cal. I'm a grown man that's comfortable in his straight sexuality. I don't gotta say pause. That man looked good shaved. Whatever. Oh man. I know my Brooklynites gonna be like, you out here on live stream with people saying the wildest stuff. Not saying pause. How could you? Oh man. Pause to that hair flip too. Really? Really, Clay? I can't flip my hair. I flip my hair all the time. Hit people, all that. I have long hair. I'm gonna flip it. Shoot. What's the point of having long hair if I can't flip the bad boy? What am I wearing on here? I know. It's all jokes. We all just having fun on the stream. I love how I get through my topics and then We just go super off topic for like the last hour of the stream, but it's always fun. I can't wait to do this full time so I could do more than one stream a week. Let me all stop. Yeah, I really don't want to get canceled. I already got banned on Facebook for 25 days, or at least my posts are not going to be seen that much on Facebook for 25 days. It's going to be pushed down because I was wilding. So off topic, but did you catch the new Chris Rock comedy special on Netflix? No, I haven't watched it yet. And I'm a big Chris Rock fan in terms of his comedy specials. Bigger and Blacker, and what's the other one called? Oh my god, I'm so mad I can't remember what the other one called. Was great. He called Will Smith 50 times. I'm not surprised. He's gonna run with that for a little while. You know, got to start at 9 p.m. Bro, you ain't come till like 10:30. What are you talking about? And also, I did a poll on my channel, and most people voted for 8. So that's why I was doing 8. So I might do 9. I'm next week's stream. I'll start at 9. Facebook always does that. I be getting banned for anime takes. Yeah, but you saw what I said. This it wasn't a lot. It was one of those things. I understand. It honestly is just like whatever. But yeah. What did you do to get YouTube jail time? I said some wild stuff to somebody in a comment. Nothing to get canceled by, or of course, I'm not like that. But I said something and someone was rude to me, and I was rude back, and they digged me for it. I have a very peaceful disposition. I have a very calm disposition. A lot of people think I'm just cool or whatever, and I just take things. So when they see the real Zach, they're like, "Whoa!" So when the real Zach comes out, or I want to say this is the real me, but when that part of that comes out, I go crazy on that. I don't like being disrespected in certain ways. I'm fashionably late. Hey, look, you joined the stream and you brought some life to it. It wasn't wild. He said what he wasn't wild. He said what he needed to be said. I appreciate that, Clay. Clay, justice for Zach. Facts. I still love Will Smith, though I'm not giving up Fresh Prince, Independence Day, Men in Black, and Bad Boys 2. F that. Yeah, no. What Fresh Prince? What Will Smith did, like, it was bad. It was a little shameful, but I'm not canceling him over it. Forget that. He's still one of the greatest actors of all time. No matter, I'm not even putting a color on him. He's just one of the greatest actors of all time, and he's just giving me too much. Yeah, no, I love Will Smith, and I will always love Will Smith. Fresh Prince, Independence Day, Men in Black, all 3 of them. Bad Boys 1 and 2. Sure. Yeah, no, I love those movies. I love everything he does. He went Harlem on them. No, I went Flatbush on him, my guy. I'm from Brooklyn. Went Bed-Stuy on him. A little Jamaican. The Jamaican. Even though I've never been there, came out of me. Will Smith was wrong, but not a big deal, to be honest. It wasn't. They made a huge deal out of it. Like, it gets somebody smacking a presenter on stage. It's kind of a big deal. So I don't know. I don't want to say it's not a big deal, but they made it. They made it a little bit bigger than it needed to be. Are you saying a chump because he didn't do anything? Because he didn't want to get in trouble for starting a fight on stage? Because that would have been crazy, and that would have looked bad for Black people. Bad Boys 2 or Bad Boys 1. Agreed. Who do you think would work in a casting of The Outsiders? Is that the Batman group? The Outsiders DC. Yeah, I think that's the Batman group, right? Okay, yeah, that's Batman, Black Lightning, Deadman. I'm not sure who the other ones are. I'm pretty sure it's changed a bunch of times because the recent Outsiders was Katana, Signal, Black Light, and Batman, and I think that's spoiler. I'm not sure, so I would need to see the lineup because the lineup changes a lot for the Outsiders. So it depends on the lineup that they go with. But it seems like Batman, Black Lightning, and Deadman are the consistent members. I think for Deadman, you would need. I think John Mulaney would be a good Deadman because that character has to be funny because it's just so ridiculous. We don't know who's Batman is going to be. We got to wait to see who the Batman is going to be. But Black Lightning, I would love Daniel Kaluuya to be Black Lightning. I think he's a great actor, and I think he can pull it off. He plays a really serious character really well, but he could do comedy. So, not a shame for him. Over a year, a big deal. Yeah. Wait, not a shame him for over a year a big deal. Yeah, he already got his punishment. He got banned from the Oscars for 10 years, which I still think that's a lot, but I guess they want to make a statement. Do get slapped every day, B. Yeah, but not on live television. And when everybody's supposed to feel safe, that's wild. Yes. Now, Chris Rock's been saying so crazy, nasty stuff over years. He's a comedian. That's what they do. If you're sensitive and you can't handle comedians saying wild stuff, it's an official Batman team. Yeah. It's an unofficial Batman team. He's a part of it a lot. But yeah, like I said, Dead Man. I think John Mulaney will be great in it. I think Black Lightning. I would love Daniel Kaluuya. I would love the girl who plays Quiet in The Boys to be Katana. Was she Katana in Suicide Squad? I don't think that's the same, but Karen Furunuki, I think that's her name. I love her. She's so good. She'll be a great Katana. Anybody see the Defenders TV show? Yeah. I like the Defenders TV show. It wasn't as good as the solo shows. They didn't have the focus there. And I don't think they knew what tone they want to go with because the shows all had different tones a bit. But overall, I think they executed it well with the budget that they had. Black Lightning show was fire. Yes, it was. Nah, in comedic form, though. Oh, man. Dude, can't wait for Constantine 2. I'm not going to lie, Anthony. I know they announced it early, but I have a feeling that movie's not happening anymore. I have a feeling that movie's not going to happen anymore. It might still happen though because they might do the Elseworld things. It's really confusing because they also had like Bad Robot with the guy who did Star Wars and Star Trek. What's his name? I haven't heard his name in a long time. But he was supposed to be doing the Dark Universe, a Constantine show, Zatanna movie, and all this other stuff. And I think that's dead in the water now. Ooh, excuse me. Because now they're doing Constantine with Keanu Reeves. She was also in Kippo in the Land of Wonder Beasts. She was also Kippo. I don't think I've seen those either. Are they good? Should I add them to the list of movies and shows that I should watch and put on my poll? What am I a Zatanna movie? I think a Zatanna show would be better, and I would love for them to take a Spanish sling to that and Ana de Armas or Jenna Ortega to play that character. Or even Aubrey Plaza, if they want to go a little older. Defenders was okay. I agree. It could have been amazing with a bigger budget, though. Yes. All those shows had low budgets, and I feel like they should have just put a little bit more money into the crossover. I enjoy the Defenders, but 60% of the Defenders Dogla was, who is the hand? Movie Ninja, you win the night. That's my favorite comment of the night. Oh my God. Who is the hand? That is so funny and so true. LOL. Neo's not getting his movie, and 10-episode Constantine series be good. Yeah, I don't think he's getting his movie. I I hope that they don't cancel Sandman because that first season was phenomenal and they already knew it for season 2. I hope they don't cancel Sweet Tooth either. I forgot about those shows. Label them as Elseworlds. Do not cancel them. I love those shows. Sweet Tooth season 2 had like a little teaser. I don't think the trailer came out, but I'm excited for Sweet Tooth season 2. And I'm Shadow Bone is not DC, but I'm watching that now. Keanu Reeves is huge right now. They could be crazy to throw that sequel away. What they could do is find a way to put it within the DCU. Movie Ninja. Oh, really? Yeah. It's one show. It's cool. It's cool. You probably don't need to rush to watch it. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Got you. For real, Cal. He wasn't huge to help out the Matrix movie. Ooh, damn, bird. Yeah. I have another thing that I'm probably gonna have to do throwback Thursdays. I've never seen the Matrix. Don't kill me. But I've never seen any of the Matrix. Yeah. I started the first one and I fell asleep after 20 minutes, so I just never went back. I think the Daredevil series Netflix is one of the best. Oh, absolutely. I'm very, very, very scared about Daredevil Born Again not being to live up to that. But yeah, Daredevil, that's one of that 3 seasons was one of the best comic book content ever. Yes, Anthony Fack. Yep. I love how there's a DC stream and we're talking about Marvel stuff. They gotta Kal-El Daily True. They gotta at least cut Keanu hair for Constantine. Yeah, that the beard can stay, but the hair gotta go. They gotta get his hair back. I don't know if we want to do it because I haven't seen. He hasn't cut that hair. He's just been like that in every single movie. He's just John Wick every single movie now. Yep, Anthony. But Jessica Jones was super dope. Jessica Jones was super dope. Love that show. First 2 seasons were great. I love Luke Cage. Iron Fist. I liked it, but it could have been much better. You have to watch The Matrix. Come on. Well, Imran, if you vote in my polls and when I put Matrix up there and you vote, then it could win and I could watch it. I don't know if you vote in my polls. You might not. You might do it, but I don't see you comment, so I don't know. Do hurting us with the never seen movies talk. But that's why you guys are here, man. You love my throwback Thursdays. Jessica Jones was badass. Well, she's coming back. If they're bringing back Punisher, they're going to bring her back. And I'm pretty sure they probably bring back Luke Cage too. They're probably just going to recast Iron Fist. Or they might bring back Iron Fist because they're bringing back. First of all, I got to say this before I even move forward further. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is one of my favorite shows of all time. It's one of my favorite comic book shows. I love that show. With that said, Chloe Bennett is going to be a Secret Invasion. So they're bringing her back from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which makes me super duper excited. Because I love that show. They're probably going to retcon it a bit because she can't be an Inhuman. But I'm excited that she's coming back because hopefully they can bring back some of the rest of the cast. They can be sprinkled and we get a new Shield. And I love that show. So I'm happy for that. To be fair, Long works for more for Constantine than Neo. Yeah, but Constantine usually has short hair. Shorter hair than that, at least. Sometimes he doesn't have a beard. Sometimes he does. So the beard could work. But yeah. Just more movies, to be honest. What's that mean, Clay? What was that response to? Dude, getting gangsta about them polls. You already know. I mean, I need you guys to vote. I need that. I need that interaction. I need to know what you guys like. I need to know what you guys want me to review, so this channel could grow and I could get that those comments and everything like that. You know, sometimes it feels like I'm reviewing to a ghost town. So I'm gonna keep my eye out. Okay, Imran, all right. Agent Shield was so good. Yo, Anthony, you are my guy. You are on it. It was so good. That season with Ghost Rider, fire. Oh my god. That action scene with Quake and Ghost Rider destroying that robot was insane. When she flipped him and then he flipped it with the chain and then she just Agent Shield was so good. So good. Get this man some soup and medicine. He likes Agent Shield. Something wrong. Well, Anthony agrees. So good. Something wrong with you, Bucko. Cal, it was so good. Throwback Thursday. Oh, you were saying just more movies for TV for Throwback Thursday. Oh yeah, just 4 more movies for Throwback Thursday. Yep. Anthony, you too. Yep. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, Agent Shield was so good. I agree with everybody. The first season of that show is slow, but halfway through, the Winter Soldier arc starts, and from there, it takes off and never stops. It just gets better every season. It's so good. It's so comic booky. The characters are lovable. Performances are great. I care about those characters so much. It's so good. So good. So sad that it just started getting less and less connected to the MCU. But they did their own thing, and once they started doing their own thing, they got creative, and it was really good. Don't shake your head. It's one of the best comic book shows of all time. That's a fact. I never got into Legends of Tomorrow, but I heard a lot of people love that show. So I can't say anything negative about Legends of Tomorrow. Man, before we move on, I just got to give the Arrowverse big ups for holding it down for DC for so long. Because while the movies were getting ripped apart, the Arrowverse was the positive light that we had. Those first 3 seasons of The Flash, and then I think the first 4 for Arrow. Then I think 5 wasn't that great, but then 6 and 7 was good, and 8 was okay. Was great. Black Lightning, great. I really like Supergirl, especially the first couple seasons. I heard Legends of Tomorrow was great. And then what else is there? And I love Superman and Lois. So like I love that they held it down. I love that they kept the kookiness of the comic books there. They did the dramatic stuff really good. I just think that the CW, you got to have certain like love stories, and then you got to diversify in a certain way and really push it in the storylines. Really hurt it and turned off from a lot of people. But overall, I really loved it. I think that those writers and people who create those shows would be great to do movies with a bigger budget and not the CW mandate attached. AG starts off slow, but those later seasons get better and better. Yep. I hear the Watchmen TV show is phenomenal. Yes, it is. Fantastic show. I have that on Steelbook Blu-ray. So good. The guy that directed Daniel Lindelof, I just heard that he jumped off his Star Wars project. Did a great job with that show. Facts. Arrowverse for life. Facts. Arrowverse for life. It deserved a better send-off than it got. Which one is 4? Whichever is with Prometheus, I think it might be 5. I think 4 is that with Merlin? Or the magician dude? I mixed that up. Whichever had Prometheus, that shit was fire. The way he broke Oliver down, and the ending. Ooh, I liked Ricardo Diaz season, both of them. Yeah, man, that show was so good. For just Felicity and the complaining and the way they did certain characters really turned a lot of people off. You got to stick it out for Agents for a couple of seasons because they find their footing around season 3, I think. But the characters were always fun and interesting. Yeah. Honestly, I think, like I said, with season 1, once the Winter Soldier arc comes in, so good. So good. Black Lightning and Stargirl. Oh, Batwoman, which I never seen an episode of. Black Lightning was great. I heard Stargirl was really good. Just never watched. I did not watch Batgirl at all. I was not interested. And it was just so much. I was watching so many of those shows already while trying to keep up with other stuff I liked. It was just, I can't add Batgirl. And then you guys are doing some weird stuff with Batman again, where he's dead and he's a murderer. I'm like, what are we doing? Why are we keep demonizing Batman? Only seen Agents season 1. Man, it was so good. Merlin was season 1. I think I said the wrong name. Damien Dark is who I meant, not Merlin. Merlin is the Thea's father and all that stuff. Yeah, he was season 1. He was great. I was talking about Damien Dark. That was this weak season there. Prometheus was 4. Prometheus was phenomenal. Oh, 5 is Prometheus, 4 is Damien Dark, 3 is Med 2. So yeah, Merlin is great in season 1. Slade is great in season 2. Season 3, I don't remember who the villain is. Damien Dark was Prometheus was great. And then I like the Ricardo Diaz half of season 6 and then him in season 7. So, yeah. Ruby Rose is a huge turnoff. Sorry, she can't act. Gotham though, classics. I've only seen her in a John Wick movie, and then she didn't have to act that much because you don't really have to act that much in John Wick. So I don't know. She was fine in the crossovers I saw her in. Never watched Gotham. Just was never interested. I watched 2 episodes and I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I can't add this to the plate. The first 2 seasons of Arrow were great, but because they kept it very grounded, and then the fight choreography was, how do you say that word? Choreograph. I can't say the word. It was dope. I'm getting too tired. Yes, that has some of the best fighting scenes in any comic book thing, movie or television. Oh, so good. Some of the hallway fights, him versus Slade, him versus Prometheus, him versus his sister, him versus his team. Just so many, countless great fights. That's one thing you could count on Arrow is great action scenes. And then his daughter and her great action scenes in the future and the present. Oh, I wanted that spinoff so bad. Season 1, 2, and 5 Arrow is so good. Yeah, man. Gotham was great. Oh, there you go, Grimron. I just didn't check it out. It was just too much on my plate. Gotham was cool if you don't care about Batman lore. Which I guess Imran and Kal-El don't, because I do. By that show's canon, Batman would be fighting all 6-year-olds. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense. Slade was so good. He was so good. He was so good. He was so good in that show. They didn't want to do a live action Slade because they're like, this guy is so good. Even though the live action Slade could have been really good because that actor, Joe Manganiello, whatever his last name, he would have knocked it out of the park. Spoilers for Gotham, Bruce becomes Batman. Clayton, stop it. It's true. It didn't follow the lore. But it's fine because, I love Smallville. So it's like the Smallville version of Batman. Hey, I like the show. Joker and Penguin has always been older than Batman. Come on. Not much older. Not that much older. Not like Bruce was a kid and Joker's already around. No, he's not that much older. Him and Batman are always supposed to be contemporaries. But that much older? Yeah, it's not that much older. I wanted Common back in John Wick movies. Yet, Anthony, you have my heart, man. Yes. I was like, where is he? Why is he not in 2 or 3? And I don't think he's in 4, but maybe that's a surprise. But yeah, I wanted him back. He was so cool. He was a cool character in the second film. I like watching Comet and Wick shoot at each other with their silencers on the train station. That was dope as hell. Who's excited? You know what? Whatever. We're going off the rails. Who's excited for John Wick 4? I got my tickets. I'm going to go see it with a friend on Thursday. You'll have my outer theater reaction and then my reviews soon after that. But yeah, man, I wish Comet came back. Just about in the comics, Bruce was 13 and Joker was 21. They're in their 40s and Bruce is 16. That Joker wasn't 40 because that actor didn't seem like he was that old. At least the one that they showed that turned to Joker. Okay. John Wick 4. Yes, man. I'm excited. Excited to go see it this week. I wanted more friends to come, but they're all busy and stuff. Clay. Uh, I don't know why you can't come. The movie's at 6 o'clock. You could have made it. Common will be. Oh, Common will be in the TV show for Wick. Is he? Oh, they're still doing that. I forgot what it's called. The hotel. Okay, that'll be cool. And maybe he might be in the show, the movie spinoff, the ballerina. Yeah, but Mr. Freeze and Riddler. Well, Mr. Freeze is just supposed to be older than Bruce. That's fine. Riddler doesn't necessarily need to be older than Bruce. Maybe Common will be a wild card for and saves John. Interesting. Yeah, maybe it's out of respect. Clayton Joker is 21 or younger. Mm, I'm going to be honest. I'm tired of Joker. Interesting, especially in movies. Am I tired of him? I don't know, because every time I see him, I'm like, Joker! Like, I always say, like, oh, other villains, other villains. And then when they do them, I'm like, oh, Joker, yes. Well, damn, I have a job. Oh, man. Yeah, I would like to see the rest of Batman's gallery be used because he has top 3 comic book heroes of gallery. It's top 3. So let's just use it more. To be fair, a lot of interesting movies this year, but only Flash and Scream got me super excited. Scream was really, really good, really great. Honestly, I love that movie. I'm really excited for Flash, despite all the controversy around it. I'm excited for Blue Beetle. I'm excited for Barbie. I'm excited for Killers of Flower Moon. I'm excited for the Marvels. I'm excited for uh there's other stuff I'm excited for. I'm excited for Evil Dead Rising. It's been getting fantastic reviews. So I'm excited to see that. Oh yeah, we see in D&D together, so you're good. Yep, I'm excited for D&D. Is that why you didn't want to come? Because you're just not interested in John Wick? I understand. That's not your type of movie. Uh Nah, I think Spider-Man has a better rogues gallery than Batman. And then Batman. And then Superman is right after him. Ooh, I recently saw Equalizer 1 this year, and I need to watch the second one. So yeah, once I watch the second one, I could be really excited for that. I can't wait for Evil Dead Rise. The trailer looks solid. Yeah, the trailer. Well, because I go to the movies every week. I saw the trailer like 17 times, but it was really good. And now that it has positive reviews, this is going to be actually my first Evil Dead movie I've ever seen. So that's exciting. What do I have under here? I'm hot. So you're about to see Zach undress on stream. This is what happens when I'm on stream for 3 hours. I start taking off my clothes. But I have my Last of Us shirt under here, so it's fine. No reveals for you guys. I know you guys want to see the body, but no, you're not gonna get anything. Can I take this off while sitting down? I don't know. I don't know if I can. I might be too dumb to do this. Come on. Okay. Whew. Oh, so hot. Whew. Yeah. Last of Us show. So a movie you should love a sequel for that hasn't had one for some reason. So a movie Alita Battle Angel. That was quick for me to say. Alita Battle Angel should get a sequel. Great movie. Fantastic movie. Definitely needs a sequel. There's probably other things, but that was the first one that came off my head. Alita Battle Angel. Nah, it's because y'all usually want to go late on weekdays, so I just said no to be safe before the plans were made. Oh, we were going at 6. That's the time we went to go see the last movie. If you want to go to John Wick 4, there was tons of seats next to us, so let me know and I'll get the ticket next to us so you can come. 6 o'clock. It's not that late. I don't like going to movies late. You know that. I would love a Book of Eli prequel sequel. Ooh, that would be interesting. Yeah, I think to see how the world got there would be cool, and then to see how everything happens after. Maybe I don't know if that franchise can support both, but maybe like a combination of both. We get like how the world is and all showing how the world was, and somehow they combine that story in total. But yeah, I like Book of Eli. Don't pause. You know you like the undressing. Stop that, Kal-El. Don't do that. The Equalizer films are super underrated. Those are great modern day action movies. They just not as flashy as the John Wick films. Um, I like the first one. I think I like Nobody more. I think I like the John Wick films more. Um, there's probably action films that I felt like I liked more than Equalizer, but it's still great. It's still great. Oh, Nasdaq OF preview. You know it. Oh man, somebody's gonna screenshot that. I'm never gonna live that down. Uh, this dude pulling out a magic might. I'm out. I just saw the count go from 8 to 7. Did you really leave Kal-El? Don't do that. Oh man. But yeah, I want sequel to It Follows. I put that on my poll and it lost. I really wanted to see that movie. The movie that won was good. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, the movie I won was good. I think it was it Bridesmaids? I think that was the one I put on Bridesmaids. But I'm eventually watch that movie. I don't think it's gonna win a poll. So yeah, Alita Bat was great. I wanted sequels. Well, James Cameron said that with the success of the Avatar movies, he might be able to finance the sequels to Alita Battle Angel. So we'll see. Hell yeah, Kai. Book of Eli was so damn good. Yep, so good. Hey, finna head out for the night. Have a great stream, bro. Thank you for jumping in. Let me know when your next live Twitch stream is. I think it'll pop up anyway. And I'll check it out. Everybody go check him out on Twitch, Slim Orion. Thank you for being in the stream, joking around, having fun. I really appreciate you. And have a good night. Get some good sleep. I should probably go to sleep. I gotta be up at 5. Fun stream. Woo! I have to be up at 7. So I'm probably gonna be on for another 10 minutes and I'm gonna hop off. I got you. Ready or Not wasn't good for me, but I'm the only one that says that though. I will not comment on that. Well, actually, I'll say, tell me why you didn't like it. And that's it. Because I don't want to spoil my review. I want you to watch it. Tell me why you didn't like Ready or Not. I'm very interested. So I'm gonna be on for 10 more minutes. So at 11:55 EST. So if you're in another country, I don't know what that would be for you. Let me know. I am going to hop off. We talked about a lot of great things on this stream, and I really appreciate you. If somehow you are someone that didn't catch the stream and you're watching after and you made it all the way to this point, and I got to do a better job of separating it and talking to you guys too, but I'm learning. Drop all your comments down below about everything we talked. We talked about so much on this stream. Let me know. But it's starting to simmer down. I see people leaving and stuff like that. So yeah, I got like a couple more minutes before I head off. Long story. I think Would You Rather is a better, similar movie. Maybe I expected more. Okay. Expectations can really hurt a film. Like a movie can be good and for what it is, and your expectations of it can hurt the film. I went into it with hearing that it was good, but nothing other than that. I didn't hear it was great or anything. I just heard it was a fun time, and I went in with that with little expectations. Hey, Movie Ninja, thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for saying it was great. This was always fun. You added a lot to fun to it. Peace out. Have a good night and a good sleep, man. I enjoyed Ready or Not, but I do prefer Ready or Next. Always compare these two films. They're similar a little bit, but they're very different at the same time. But just because one is great doesn't mean the other one isn't great. It's fine. Your Next is one of my favorite horror films. I love that movie a lot, and I watch it like probably once a year. But yeah. The Magic Mike you did got people dipping. Yeah, shortly after that, that's when people were like, okay, I'm out of here. They did the SpongeBob, like, all right, well, I'm gonna head out. Ready or Not is a little too comedic for my taste. I think Your Next is more serious. Your Next is way more serious than Ready or Not. I think Ready or Not was supposed to be a dark comedy, dark horror comedy. So just different styles. We have to have different flavors in movies. Not everything can be the same because then it will be compared to each other way too much. Anthony X Your Next was good, but people seem to overhype that one. Also, I don't like the final other. You don't like the finale? You mean? Really? I thought it was great. I don't even know what negatives I would have for that film. I thought it was a great film. Final Girls and Final Girl are both really great movies. Ooh. Add it to the list. To the list. I didn't even know there was movies called Final Girl. Thoughts on Jordan Peele's new movie? Are you talking about Nope from last year, or are you talking about this new movie that's coming out next year around Christmas time? Final Girl, I mean the final only thing good. Oh my god. You need to put finale. 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 You're confusing me. Oh man. But yeah, Kala, what do you mean Jordan Peele new movie? Because if it's the one that was announced for who, my phone? It's an Android. I guess yeah, the back makes it look like a Game Boy. If you can see, oh yeah, it comes out good. See my lock screen, the boy. Oh, the boy. Superman. This is a new comic that is out right now called Superman Lost. It's from the writer who brought back Black Panther from the dead. John, I think it's John Ridley Scott, something like that. Yeah, his phone looks the Christmas one. I'm excited for it because I love his first three movies. He's one of my favorite directors. I think his creativity gets larger and larger as the things go on, and I'm excited to see what he has here for a movie around Christmas time. That sounds like it's going to be crazy. Hopefully, after this movie, he joins the franchise and can do his original movies and join the franchise. I really think he'd be a great addition to DC and do a Martian and Manhunter movie. But I'm excited to see. I love Get Out, one of my favorite movies of all time. I love Us, despite the problems it has, and I love Nope from last year. That was a great film. You still on, bro? We did our sports show after you started and ended before you ended. How much time you staying on? I'm actually going to be leaving in 5 minutes. So is this Tank, Brian, or Brandon? um, yeah, man. I'm glad you got your stream off. Yeah, like I was gonna get off at like an hour and 40 minutes, and then everybody just came in and started talking, and we got into so much stuff, and it was having so much fun. I lost track of time. I want Jordan Peele film on the evil monkey from Note. Give me that movie. Ooh, like a little spin-off. That would be cool. I would appreciate some Georgie action, a little spin-off. Or even where was the monster from Nope is called Straight Jacket or Jean Jacket. I'd love to see where it came from. A little bit of the origin of that. Because that's weird, It's not a alien spaceship, it's an alien, but it looks like a spaceship. That's cool. Superman the GOAT, glad you appreciate me. Oh God. Nope, I gotta watch. Yeah, it's if you have it's on Amazon Prime now and it's on Peacock. So if you have either of those streaming services, you can watch Nope. Me and Tank. Thank you guys for joining the stream. I know Tank came on way earlier. I appreciate you guys. If you guys have any thoughts about the subjects about the DC, I'll stay on for a little more to talk to you guys about it. I talked about the importance of Dark Knight. I talked about the birth and fall of the DCU, the quality of the movies, all the drama that happened between then. We got breaking news about Shazam drama in the middle of my stream about Zachary Levi and the girl that plays Mary Marvel and how they were in a relationship for a secret and he leaked her nudes. Crazy. And then I talked about the slate for DC that James Gunn has set out, and I put all the inspirations, what to expect based on what he's talking about in the tone of the film. So if you have anything you want to talk about in that, I'll stay on for a little while, talk to you guys about that, and then I'm out. I think Get Out and Us are both awesome. I need to watch Nope again. I got the 4K with the horse on the cover, the Walmart exclusive. Ooh, I need to see that. Did you do a video on that? I got the Steelbook from Best Buy with the jean jacket, the inside of jean jacket. So that's cool. But the horse thing sounds really cool. I didn't see that. The Walmart exclusive that I got was the Everything Everywhere All at Once Blu-ray that I got. I really wish that movie came on Steelbook, but I really love that cover with all the googly eyes. But yeah, Get Out and Us were both awesome. I think Us will age really well. I think a lot of people were looking for something other than what he was trying to give, and I think it will age really well as time passes. And Get Out is just an instant classic. So great films. But if there's no last bit of things that you guys have to say, I am going to hop off in 2 minutes. I got some stuff before I got to do that before I go to bed. And yeah, this has been really fun. I love doing these streams with you guys and tapping in. Me and my marathon streams. And just to show this thing that I starred because this was funny. Enjoy the defenders, but 60% of the defenders was who is the hand? It's just so funny to me. That was great. Do you hope to get another Wonder Woman film? Absolutely. Wonder Woman has I'm pretty sure we are. They're gonna do a Paradise show based on the island she comes from and all the people there. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a Wonder Woman film with a new actress. Because as much as I like Gal Gadot, when she's directed by Zack Snyder, she's not really great when she's directed by other people. But Wonder Woman is too important. The three pillars of DC is Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. You have to add those three. You have to do them properly. Everything spins out from there, and you can do other stuff because of that. I think the pillars of just real quick to say this is the pillars of DC is the 7 Justice League members. That's why you have to have them and do them right. Superman is the alien that's among us that looks like us. Very, very important and establishes the super kind of characters that we have in DC. Batman is one of the detectives, and he's one of the grounded people, and he ties into all that. Wonder Woman ties into the gods and that mythos, the Greek gods. We get Hercules, we have a ties into Dark Side, we have ties into so many things because of Wonder Woman. We get magic from there as well. Flash is important because you get the science CSI part of it, but also the Speed Force, which is a huge part. And we need that for that and the Flash and all his villains. A lot of his villains are villains that can be Justice League villains. Green Lantern is important because he's the one that introduces space, the human going to space. So we have the alien coming to Earth and the human going to space, having a police patrol, and he interacts with a lot of the greater universe threats. And introduces a lot of the weird characters that the DC universe can get involved into. Aquaman is important because it delves into magic, kingdoms, Game of Thrones kind of things, but these into the sea, something different, and a lot of characters span off of that. And I think the final member should be either Martian the Manhunter, like you said. I would love a Martian Manhunter film directed by Jordan Peele. He is the alien that does not look like us and gets shamed and has to hide himself because he doesn't look like us. And then he takes the form of people who are minorities and gets attacked, which is what he does. And it's all like a cool metaphor. The white Martians, the green Martians being enslaved by the white Martians. Then he comes to Earth, becomes a black man. This is why I want Jordan Peele to tackle that, and you can see where that's going. Why I think him being a PI, I think that's another important thing. Putting the jobs of all the Justice League members so you can relate to them. Superman, the reporter, Batman, the detective. Wonder Woman is like the archaeologist, Indiana Jones kind of character. Flash is the CSI. Aquaman is a king. That's his job. Martian Manhunter is a PI. So all those things are important, and then you can start doing other things and spinning Etrigan and all these other characters you can get through them. So that's what I hope for. To end this off on what I was initially talking about, I hope those are the elements that James Gunn incorporates into his DC universe. But this was really fun, guys. Thank you for the stream, jumping on the stream, having all this fun with me. You guys were really fun. I expected to be on here for an hour by myself, talking by myself, and eight people were on here just chatting with me for a lot of the time. I'm probably going to start doing the streams a little later so you guys can hop on. And for everyone that watching after, and then get to watch it after, and you made it this far, thank you. I really appreciate you. I hope everyone liked the video. I hope everyone that caught this video and wasn't subscribe to the channel and join the live streams, join my regular videos and my reviews and my Throwback Thursdays, my trailer reactions, and really just follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Zack Attack Reviews, Zack Attacks RVS, so you can give me suggestions for things to do live streams on. Sometimes I'm like racking my brain about topics and stuff like that. So let me know. I think my next live stream is going to be the movies to anticipate for April, because March is about to end, and I usually do that at the end of the month. So I think that's next Tuesday will be the end of the month for March. So let's look forward for that, and just keep loving movies, guys. Appreciate you all. Peace. Thanks, Anthony.